저그 안 뽑을 것 같은 선수를 뽑고 싶긴 해요. 김범수 선수.
지금 절 노리고 있는 저그 선수들이 좀 많아가지고 빨리 지금 벗어나고 싶어요.
좀 혼란스러워요. 범수를 이제 뽑게 되면 나중에 데려가지 않을까.
아니 뭐 제가 굳이 안 들어가도 일장이가 저를 뽑을 확률이 좀 있기 때문에 사실 조용히 하고 있어서 언급 안 해주셨으면 좋겠어요.
일장이 형님이랑 명훈이 형이 절 좋아할 줄 알았는데
오!
뒤에 용태 형도 절 좋아한다고 하시더라고요. 인기가 이렇게 많은 줄 몰랐어요.
모든 선수들이 피하고 있는 B그룹이에요. 와 데려가요?
현재가 배병호 선수 뽑으면서 이제 그러더라고요. 일장이 형 범수 데려가요. 현재 한번 믿어봤어요.
현재 원하는 대로 강한 저그 좀 바로 넣어주고 좀 만들어 보려고 생각 중입니다 지금. 여기 혹시 오고 싶으신 분 있으면은
이재호 마이크.
본인이 만약에 바뀔 거라는 생각을 한다면 아무나 뽑아도 뭐 상관이 없잖아요.
저를 안 뽑아도 되는데 뽑아줬으면 좋겠습니다.
무슨
안
얘기예요?
뽑아도 되는데
아, 그냥,
뽑아줬으면
네.
뭐예요?
재호가 가고 싶다니까 제가 좀 가고 싶어졌어요.
현재가 저한테 지금 통수를 친 게
어?
제가 지금 너무 억울하거든요. 그냥 저는 B조 온 이상 일장이 형이랑 한 몸이라고 생각하고 여기 2조에 이제 이바지 하겠습니다.
아 진짜.
자, 윤용태.
와, 윤용태 선수의
네.
재호 형이 어필을 했지만 그 어필이 받아들여지지 않아요. 일장이 형이랑 최대한 좋은 조 같이 만들어 가 보려고.
일단 뭐 맛집이 맛집을 안다고 서로 이렇게 뽑혀서 아주 재밌는 조가 되지 않을까.
예. 아니 그렇게 좋으세요?
저는 사실 범수한테 그냥 너가 뽑고 싶은 선수를 뽑아라 했는데 제가 뽑고 싶은 선수를 뽑아줘가지고
다음 선택권은 윤용태 선수에게 있거든요.
인터뷰를 할 수 있는 선수인가요?
인터뷰를 할 수
없는가요?
있는 선수인가요?
존재하고요.
여기까지 남은 게 좀 신기하긴 해요. 그 존재감이 없는 건지 좀 까다로워하는 건지 모르겠는데 뭐 여기까지 남은 걸로도 저는 뭐 만족스럽고 뽑고 싶으면 뽑으시면 돼요.
와 뽑고 싶은 뽑아라. 이쪽에 있는데 김지성 맞아요? 맞아요?
맞은 것 같습니다.
지성이랑 이제 온라인에서 했을 때 서로 이길 수 있다고 생각했고요. 음식에는 비주얼도 되게 중요하잖아요. 근데 저희 조에는 빨간색이 없어요. 그래서 조화롭게 하려고 테란을 뽑게 됐습니다.
그거 뭐 충분히 만족스럽고요. 좀 철저하게 준비를 해야 될 것 같아요.
프랜차이즈 조가 됐어요.
프랜차이즈를 뛰어넘을 것 같습니다.
지치지 않은 청춘과 열정, 젊음을 대표하는 에너지 드링크 하식스와 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어가 함께합니다. ASL 시즌 12 16강 B조 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 지난 일요일에 펼쳐졌던 A조 경기 한순간도 눈을 뗄 수 없는 재밌는 경기들로 꽉꽉 채워졌는데요. 치열한 승부 끝에 박상현 선수와 변현재 선수가 가장 먼저 살아남아 8강에 이름을 올렸습니다. 자, 오늘도 많은 분들의 관심과 기대가 모아지고 있는 가운데 선수들은 어떤 마음일지 이야기 나눠보는 시간 갖도록 하겠습니다. 가장 먼저 첫 경기를 앞두고 있는 조일장 선수와 김범수 선수 만나보시죠. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 조일장 선수 안녕하세요. 이번 시즌 첫 경기 앞두고 계시네요.
네.
A조보다 B조가 조금 더 수월할 것 같다라는 의견이 있습니다. 조일장 선수도 조에 대한 만족감은 어느 정도 있으시지 않을까 싶거든요.
네, 일단은 조는 굉장히 만족스럽고요. 그냥 저만 뭐 실수하지 않는다면, 긴장하지 않는다면 올라갈 수 있지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다.
가장 첫 번째로 8강에 오를 수 있을까요? 이 조에서?
뭐 해봐야 알겠지만 네, 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요.
간절한 만큼은 조일장 선수 못지않을 김범수 선수와도 인사를 좀 나눠볼까요? 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
24강과는 조금 또 다른 기운이 좀 느껴지나요, 경기장에?
아직 얼떨떨해가지고 일단은 최선을 좀 다 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
김범수 선수 16강 진출이 확정되자마자 정말 뛸 듯이 기뻐하는 모습이 많은 분들의 머릿속에 좀 각인이 됐습니다. 만약 8강에 올라간다면 그때보다 훨씬 더 좀 기쁜 마음이지 않을까 싶은데 상대가 만만치 않거든요. 준비 과정은 좀 어떠셨나요?
일단 너무 잘하셔가지고 너무 힘들었고요. 그래도 일단 준비한 대로 최선을 다 해보도록 하겠습니다.
이번 시즌 유독 또 이변이 많이 일어나고 있고 변수들도 많이 자리하고 있기 때문에 조일장 선수 역시 좀 방심은 금물일 것 같다라는 생각이 드는데요. 조일장 선수의 준비 과정은 어땠는지도 궁금하네요.
일단 그 16강 시작하기 전에까지는 최대한 좀 쉬었어요. 좀 쉬고 이제 요 며칠 이제 게임을 굉장히 많이 하면서 좀 경기 감각을 끌어올리는 데 집중해가지고 요즘에 경기력이 굉장히 만족스러운 편이에요.
경기 직전 좀 연습량을 확 늘렸다라는 대답을 해주셨는데, 자 이번에는 양 선수들에게 팬 여러분들이 주신 질문을 좀 드려보겠습니다. 조일장 선수의 질문입니다. 방금 말씀해주셨던 부분과 좀 일맥상통하는 부분인데요. 최근 온라인 전적을 살펴보니까 9월 23일부터 25일까지 전적 무려 72경기, 하루 평균 24경기 정도를 하는 엄청난 모습을 보여주셨는데, 연습량 증가가 다시 좀 폼을 탔는 데 많은 도움이 된 것 같나요?
일단은 게임을 많이 하다 보니까 이게 점점 그 손이 깔끔해지더라고요. 그러면서 경기력이 점점 좋아지길래 역시 게임을 많이 해야 되나 보다 생각하고 있었어요.
김범수 선수에게는 또 이런 질문이 올라왔습니다. 김범수 선수에게 개인 방송이란? 이런 질문이 올라왔는데, 아무래도 최근 방송이 일주일 전이고 또 9월 한 달 동안 많이 방송을 키시진 않으셨더라고요. 그래서 좀 만약 더 올라가게 된다면 자주 보고 싶은 마음에 이런 질문이 올라온 게 아닐까 싶어요. 대답을 해주실 수 있을까요?
일단 24강도 솔직히 한 3번, 4번 도전하다 떨어졌는데 16강을 처음 올라온 거다 보니까 좀 더 포커스를 준비에 좀 더 둔 것 같아요. 그래서 다음에는 더 기도록 하겠습니다.
김범수 선수 오늘 16강 경기 어떤 선수와의 대결에 가장 좀 집중해서 준비를 해오셨을까요?
아무래도 1차전 경기가 제일 중요하고, 이 경기를 이기면 진짜 엄청 상황이 좋아져서 1경기 1.0전을 제일 많이 준비했던 것 같아요.
저그는 조일장 선수 한 명뿐이지만 저그 전에 모든 걸 좀 걸겠다라는 의지가 느껴집니다. 두 선수에게 각오를 끝으로 한 말씀씩 들어보겠습니다. 조일장 선수.
일단 오랜만에 경기하는데 좋은 모습으로 8강 1등으로 진출할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
김범수 선수.
저도 준비한 만큼 최선을 다해서 꼭 열심히 하도록 하겠습니다.
네, 두 선수 인터뷰 감사드리고요. 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 오늘 첫 경기를 앞두고 있는 조일장 선수와 김범수 선수 만나봤습니다. 상대적으로 좀 여유가 보이는 조일장 선수와 달리 많은 긴장을 하고 있는 김범수 선수의 모습이었는데요. 자, 오늘의 두 번째 경기를 앞두고 있는 선수들도 어떤 마음일지 만나서 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 윤용태 선수와 김지성 선수 만나보시죠. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 먼저 윤용태 선수 24강에서 굉장히 시원시원한 경기력을 보여주면서 1위로 16강에 진출을 하셨습니다. 16강은 또 오랜만이시잖아요. 컨디션 어떠세요?
그냥 사실 뭐 그렇게 막 좋지는 않은데 그래도 자신이 있어요.
오늘 참 비를 쫄딱 맞고 오셨더라고요. 경기장에 오실 때.
네네.
괜찮으세요?
사실 비가 올 줄은 알았는데 제가 우산을 깜빡해가지고 그래도 기분이 그렇게 좋지는 않았었거든요. 근데 약간 천둥번개가 치더라고요.
네.
그래가지고 약간 기분이 좋았습니다. 그래도.
오, 기분이 좋으셨어요.
네, 제가 좀 번개랑 연관이 있어가지고
어...
오늘 약간 기분이 좋아요. 그래도.
반대로 김지성 선수는 굉장히 쾌적한 모습으로 경기장에 굉장히 일찌감치 도착을 하셨습니다.
네네.
손은 잘 푸셨어요?
네, 폼 풀려고 좀 일찍 왔었는데 다행히 손은 잘 풀린 것 같아요.
지난 시즌 16강에서 다소 좀 아쉽게 탈락하고 난 이후에도 이번 시즌이기 때문에
네.
그런 아쉬움을 좀 떨쳐내고 싶은 마음이 굉장히 크실 것 같아요.
네, 그때도 그렇고 사실 이번에 24강 때도 개인적으로 좀 만족스러운 경기력이 안 나왔었어 가지고 이번에 좀 준비를 좀 잘하고 싶어서 많이 준비한 것 같아요. 이번에는.
두 선수 모두 8강에 대한 간절함이 누구보다 좀 크지 않을까 싶어요. 윤용태 선수는 대국민 스타리그 8강 외에는 ASL에서 또 8강에 오르지 못했고, 김지성 선수도 아직까지는 8강에 가보지 못했기 때문에 이번 16강 좀 바라보는 마음의 크기가 어떨지 좀 듣고 싶은데요. 윤용태 선수는 어떠세요?
저한테도 뭐 이렇게 사실 제가 나이가 어린 편이 아니라서 약간 기회가 그렇게 많지 않다고 생각되고요. 그래서 이번에 좀 더 간절했는데 저희 조가 생각보다 이렇게 쉽다고 이렇게 말씀을 많이 하시는데 면면히 따져보면 다들 연습량이 너무 많더라고요.
네.
그래서 더 좀 이렇게 좀 쫄리기도 하고 네, 오늘 그래도 열심히 해보겠습니다.
네, 가장 까다로울 것 같은 상대는 어떤 선수인가요?
사실 아무래도 1차전이 제일 중요하다고 생각하고요. 1차전에서 이길 수만 있다면 뭐 쉽지는 않겠지만 그래도 3승으로 올라갈 수 있지 않을까. 네, 그렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
네, 아무래도 단판에 대한 부담이 있지 않을까 싶은데 김지성 선수는 어떠세요? 또 김유정 라인으로 한창 많은 팬분들의 각광을 받고 있는데 8강에 오른다면 그 기대에 좀 부응할 수 있지 않을까 싶어요.
솔직히 진짜 실력적으로는 8강 충분히 갈 수 있다고 지금 생각하고 저 지금 8강보다는 더 높이 올라가고 싶기 때문에 오늘은 꼭 무조건 그냥 올라가야겠다는 생각뿐이 없습니다.
김지성 선수의 목표는 8강 그 이상이다라는 대답을 또 들을 수 있었습니다. 이번에도 에스크 ASL 한번 진행해 보도록 하겠습니다. 윤용태 선수 하면 무조건 1순위로 떠오르는 것이 전투의 신이죠. 24강에서도 최우선 선수를 완벽하게 전투로 좀 제압하는 모습을 경기 안에서 볼 수 있었는데 특유의 전투 능력 어떻게 발휘되는 건가요? 라는 질문이 올라왔습니다. 실제로 전투에 자신감이 좀 많으신가요?
네, 일단 자신이 좀 많았는데요. 요즘에 싸우다 보니까 많이 지더라고요. 그래가지고 좀 근데 사실 좀 이렇게 많이 싸우다가 보면 잘 싸우면 전투신 되고요. 못 싸우면 그만큼 욕 먹습니다.
그래도 일단 본인의 스타일은 싸우는 걸 굉장히 선호한다라고 좀 말씀하실 수 있겠죠?
예, 게임에서는 싸우는 거 되게 좋아합니다.
네, 이번에는 김지성 선수에게 질문을 드리겠습니다. 지난 시즌 D조에서 1순위로 뽑혔던 김지성 선수가 이번에는 거의 마지막 순번까지 뽑히지 않았습니다. 많은 선수들이 본인을 좀 까다롭게 보는 것 같아요. 어떤 부분을 가장 좀 까다롭게 여기는 것 같나요?
솔직히 제가 온라인에서는 거의 누구랑 해도 거의 뭐 이기고 지고 하기 때문에 그런 점도 있고 제가 좀 빌드적인 부분도 평소에 좀 약간 상대가 짜증나고 약간 마총 같은 플레이를 되게 잘하거든요. 그런 부분에서 좀 얘기를 들어보면 까다로워하는 선수들이 많은 것 같더라고요. 그래서 좀 늦게 뽑힌 게 아닌가 그런 생각이 드는 것 같아요.
오늘도 좀 맞춤 빌드를 준비해 오셨을까요?
네, 거의 뭐 준비는 완벽하게 됐습니다.
완벽한 준비를 끝마쳤다라는 좀 대답까지 들을 수 있었습니다. 끝으로 두 선수의 각오를 짧게 한마디씩 들어볼까요? 윤용태 선수.
예, 준비한 대로 일단 열심히 하겠고요. 첫 번째 그 A조 경기가 너무 재밌었기 때문에 B조에서도 다 모두 재밌는 경기가 나왔으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 김지성 선수.
네, 저 좀 테란 라인 중에 좀 저를 기대해 주신 분들이 많은 것 같은데 꼭 보답할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 두 선수 재밌는 경기 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
자, 경기를 앞두고 있는 4명의 선수와 함께 인터뷰 나눠봤습니다. 과연 B조에서는 또 어떤 선수들이 8강까지 오를 수 있을지 지금부터 경기를 통해 함께 확인해 보시죠.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to day 2 of the round of 16 in the ASL. This is Group B, and I got to say, Group A had some amazing games. I think today is going to be no different. How about you, Tastosis?
Yeah. Well, I think today will be better because we definitely had a couple really quick rush games in that first day, and I'm not as certain that will happen here, right? Are we going to see someone just attack move with Zerglings and kill somebody? Probably not. Are we going to see a cannon rush that is effective? I don't think so, right? So I think it's actually going to be a better day than Group A.
Before we get started here, guys, we want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting us on Patreon. We would not be able to do casts like these without support from people like you. And now we've got something extra for the people that have been supporting us on Patreon. We have a top secret pre-show podcast where you can hear us shoot the shit and joke around. Yeah, we just recorded it. Recorded our second one, Artosis.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fun, actually. It's just like how we actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
So, good time. So, basically, it's casting without the StarCraft. Yay!
Yay!
Do check it out, guys. It'll be on the Patreon, of course.
Yep, patreon.com/ASL English.
Yeah. Okay, so this group, Tastosis Group B, obviously, my priorities are correct. I'm looking at the Terran player. I'm trying to think, is he going to have a good time here? Because JYJ absolutely did not in Group A.
Yeah, no, JYJ had a rough run. The player I'm having a hard time figuring out where he's going to be is nOOB, to be honest. I think Hero gets out for sure. I think probably Royal, but nOOB, I think
Royal is technically maybe the second best player.
I think so.
Yeah, he's up there for sure in this group.
Free's very good. He definitely still has a little bit of an older style. We'll see if he has modernized his play here today. One thing about nOOB coming into this is that this is clearly a guy who is extremely active and very up-to-date on the meta and everything. It's going to be cool to see how he performs here, but I can't imagine nOOB beating Hero.
Yeah, I mean, best of one. I guess anything could happen, but it seems unlikely. Hero's just so solid in the matchup. But yeah, I do want to say that I think that Free is in really, really, really good shape right now.
Yeah.
I think he's like in his tip-top form at the moment. So I think that he has a decent shot of getting out of this group as well, because don't forget, he's always been like a PvZ expert. So even if he hits Hero in that final match, I could see him taking it.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that for sure. You know, Hero, again, one of these super terrifying Zergs. I think he not only gets out, but gets out first. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he's favored to get out first, yeah. But I can see the upsets coming, right? Like, I think Noob versus Hero, it's best of one, so there's a possibility. And then Free and Royal both have a reasonable chance to beat Hero. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Hero probably the favorite to win the group overall.
Yeah. What is your take on Royal's Terran nowadays here? Does he stand out to you in any specific way?
He's amazing. He's fantastic. Like, this guy really, he's...
That's
seriously,
the cutest
Royal
answer I've ever heard in my whole life. I mean, like, how does he play? You're like, he's super awesome and cool.
Yeah, no, he is, though. He's like, he's one of the guys actually pushing the metagame forward quite a bit. And most people put him at 3rd or 4th best Terran in the world right now, right? It's like Light and Rush are top 2, everyone would agree. And then it's like, okay, Sharp and Royal basically come next in whatever order you think at the moment. But Royal is, he plays very edge of the meta. He's like the guy that's been bringing back, or bringing for the first time, Ghosts with Lockdown and Nukes against Protoss. So I hope that we see something crazy like that tonight. We could see anything from him.
Yeah. You know, Terran has been in a kind of a weird spot since Flash has been gone. You know, there's been a little bit of soul searching here. Flash was always the guy. You know, it's funny for Terran players because Flash has been so disproportionately the best player in the entire game for so long that, you know, you don't oftentimes have somebody who's so ahead in one race and can kind of explain how the whole game is going to be operating. But, you know, he's in the military right now, and so we got to wait and see who's going to take the lead here for the Terrans. For now, it's been Light, but, you know, see what Royal does.
Yeah. So right now, the first match, Hero versus Noob. By the way, I just got to say this. Noob looks like my dentist. I'm not even kidding. But, you know, Noob is...
Dan, instead of casting this game, Dan reclines his chair and opens his mouth. Like, get his fillers.
I'm like, oh, no, I don't need anything.
Dan's just trying. Dan, instead of casting this, he just keeps promising everybody that he flosses. It gets really weird.
Yeah. But Noob is like he's very active, as you said, right? Like he's been practicing like crazy hard, trying to get through here, and he was able to knock out Sharp to move on. But I mean, PvZ best of 1 Polypoid, right? I believe Polypoid's our first map, so that just sounds like. What are you going to bring as your plan here to kill Hero, who has a lot of robust macro openers?
Yeah, it's a tough call, right? I mean, I think we're for sure going to have a fast expand build of some sort, but I think you really got to play kind of straight up on Polypoid. You know, there's not a lot of room for trickery. Anyways, guys, we're ready to get into our game. This is Game 1 here at Group B, Hero versus Noob in the ASL. Okay, we've got Hero down here in the bottom right. Our Protoss player Noob here in the top left. We're in cross spawns.
Yeah, I like that. I like that we're in cross spawns. Going to be a little bit less likely to see the game end quickly. All right. I mean, I would love to see a nice big macro game here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Noob has something sharp planned.
Yeah, well, Noob's got to come in here with something. You know, it is possible that Noob is just an absolute macro beast and can hang with even the best Zergs here. We may have that. I mean, I think you and I are both on the same page where we're kind of having difficulty imagining a game where, you know, Noob overpowers a player like Hero, but let's see.
Yeah, it's just it's like occasionally you do have a Protoss that just outplays a Zerg from A to Z, but a lot of times Protoss wins are like Zerg things that went wrong.
Right.
You know, like it just it's just kind of something that we see. I don't think that there's that many Protoss that are confident in themselves on getting to late game and like outplaying the Zergs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It can be tough, but I think this is not a terrible map for Protoss either. I think there's a lot, especially in cross spawns. There's a lot of different directions you can try to expand in. I would love if we went up to 5 bases for Protoss and really saw a macro game cross spawns.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be super cool. Love to see it. And it is cross spawn and it's a forge opener, so I mean, already we're up to at least Hydra Bus time in the game, right? Like with each building that I see go down, like the game goes, it's like, okay, this can't end before 4 minutes now.
He went forge first, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Toast, you might have said that I spaced out looking at what the Zerg was doing, but yeah, not a gateway expand here, and he did do the correct play here, getting the cannons up ahead of time. Zergs are pooling a little bit earlier now here to basically force Protoss to be more honest. I think this is a lot of this stuff is a reaction from the previous season, and Mini basically playing extremely greedy and getting away with it so often. And whenever you have somebody who plays that well in any race, it causes ripples through the entire player base ecosystem where everybody starts doing that, and the result is all the Zergs then, clock it up with more aggro openings like this.
Now that drone dodged the probe. That's actually, I like that move quite a bit. Like he brought it up so the probe couldn't see, so just a little bit less information here for nOOB as he takes the base that nOOB literally just scouted, and not seeing a drone on the way. Like maybe you read the situation incorrectly as nOOB.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's very important that you identify where each hatchery is being placed and look at everything that Zerg's doing. Because when you see, even if it's completely standard play, you're at least confirming that you're not getting all in, right? Not that the Zerg could all in just yet, but, as the gas gets mined for a little bit, you have to spend it either on a layer, Zergling speed, or a Hydralisk den. So it's critical the probe keeps orbiting around this area. And first of all, confirms the gas is continuing to be mined, but then also identifies what structure is going to be made next.
Yeah, and with Hero, it really could be anything. We've seen him do like the speed openers into not mining gas and like just kind of macroing drones out. We've seen him go into Hydra Bus, Mutalisk play, just about everything. He has that full playbook, so makes it a bit harder here on nOOB, I think.
Yeah, it's tough here. Now the probe's been killed, and this is, he hasn't lasted long enough to really confirm much of anything. Keep in mind, even if he did see a layer or something go down, you can always cancel it. But this is going to be layer tech. This is actually looking like a normal game here.
And nothing really out of the ordinary. He does get his Stargate going. He had those 2 first cannons out, so feeling pretty safe to push out with a Zealot at least. See if he gets any real intel with that, though, with these links coming across the map.
Yeah, the Zealot's going to come out here. And, I mean, you don't always have to send it all the way. You kind of want to get as much of a read as you can. Keep in mind, you're also checking for link speed. So he sees that now. And if you can control this well, the Protoss can win the fight. You basically have to keep, trading which Protoss is really absorbing the damage here. And this is going to force out a couple more links.
Yeah, definitely has to, and has that Spire on the way right now. Citadel coming up in the main base here of nOOB, of course, already has the Stargate coming as well. Very, very standard-looking game right now.
Yeah, so far, so good here. He is going to be able to trickle these Zealots down over here towards the third base. Ultimately, the objective is to wedge the Zealots, not behind these minerals, but to get them down there at the third where they can really cause some interference in the mining.
That would be kind of funny. That's like his strat. He keeps them
there for the whole game, and then when the Zerg tries to take that mineral-only base, like...
Well, they're so strong out there, you really need to tech the Hydras to clear them.
Yeah, you basically have to go Mutalisk and try to kill them off. It's pretty crazy.
Now, this one Zealot going towards that main base, the Speedling's going to kill him off. I think he did catch a sight of that one macro hatchery out front, but he still has those 2 Zealots down on the side. Just kind of hiding, chilling out.
Yeah, and this is so far sized up to be an extremely standard game. I mean, to be honest, it's very textbook on both sides, kind of almost looking like a game from even 5 years ago. But, this is a perfectly fine way to play, and it doesn't seem like either side wanted to take any risks at all. Instead, just kind of lean into the, amount of practice and hours they put in and try to play a pretty honest, straight-up game.
Looks like already an Overlord has been picked off by the Corsair. Still kind of flying around. Zealot's still just chilling behind those mineral patches there. I wonder how long he'll leave those. Like, this could end up being like a really brilliant move, but the Overlord, I think, the Overlord sees them now. But that could have been like kind of a fun, wow, a lot's going on, and suddenly there are 2 Zealots in the third base of Hero before he has a sunken colony.
Yeah, okay, now we got 6 hatches here with the Evo. So this is a Zerg that's probably going to lean heavily into Hydralisks. Not necessarily get Lurkers right away, but instead power this out. And there is also the possibility of the Mutalisk switch. And this is a real mid-game fighting tech tree that we're seeing built up over here, where basically the Zerg wants to win a fight before the Protoss can take a third base. Now, granted, Protoss doesn't take a third base very quickly, but the idea is that, when Protoss finishes the composition that they have, they can come out and start to push. But if you have, like, let's say 9 Mutalisks, you can snipe every Templar before the Dragoons and Storm can kill you if you do it right. And then the Hydralisks just win the game.
Yeah. All right, now the Scourge coming out and catch a Corsair right there. Maybe nOOB being a little bit greedy, trying to kill off that Overlord, but Zealots have come out, met up with the rest of them, runs into this third base location, but the Sim City is really strong there.
I stand corrected here. He actually went Mutalisks first instead of Hydralisks first. So he teched the Mutas. The Hydras are still going to be an option later on, but a lot of the same ideas here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. He got all his hatches up beforehand, so he went up to like 6 hatch and then the Mutas, because I was actually going to ask you, like, don't they normally make the Mutas like right after the Corsairs go home, right? Like, normally the Scourge chases the Corsairs home, and then we see the Mutas made.
That's correct.
But he actually waited quite a bit longer this time to make them.
So this is going to force the Protoss to make a lot more Corsairs, which, I mean, ultimately, if you get enough Corsairs with upgrades, they do beat Mutalisks. The issue, though, is that if you get enough Corsairs to fight the Mutas, then your Templars have been delayed a little bit, and you can see really a lot of respect towards the threat here. He's made an Archon as well. Now, this can make the Hydra stronger. Not, it's a very interesting way to play. Oh my God! And he's actually moving shot. Going to moving shot these Corsairs here.
Yeah, luckily for Hero, he did have some Scourge coming up, so was able to force them back, so he didn't lose all of his Mutas. But I think nOOB is playing a very solid game. I love the Archon. He's taking every threat super seriously this game. He's not looking to just die right off the bat.
Yeah, the moving shot here on the Corsairs is really good. He's definitely deflected this. The question is basically going to be, how is the ground army going to be for Zerg against the Protoss here? Because Corsairs they're actually very expensive, and they cost a lot of gas. And, really, the Protoss is very gas hungry early on in the game. So it is extremely important you have the right balance for everything over there. So he's going to be now finally taking that third base, and I don't really see any way that Zerg can stop this. He doesn't really have any units on the map. He didn't even have any lings hidden there to try to spot for when that was coming up.
Yeah, this is actually very, very cool. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from nOOB. Very few Protosses take that as their third on Polypoid. A lot of times they take the mineral base and then take the gas as their fourth. But I think this is going to give him a little bit more flexibility with his High Templars and gas.
Yeah, and the Lings have actually found it. And so Zerg is doing exactly what Zerg needs to do, which is to keep counterattacking the Protoss and drawing the army back here to defend. Now, we should point out here that Hero actually has no really desirable target to try to take here. As far as nOOB attacking in, he's still just on these 3 bases, but... Oh, as I say that, though, it looks like he's finally taking the mineral only.
Okay, yeah, and that's a good defensive location anyways.
Right.
I don't think he really needs much more gas as is, so he's going to be able to macro up there, have kind of a center of that defense. By the way, the Scourge usage of Hero here has been amazing and really subtle. So we haven't been able to really be like, wow, discourage that many times. But like his Muta's hit that base, and then he placed the Scourge in between the natural and the third. And the Corsairs came up, but nOOB was quick enough to turn around. But Hero's like setting up all these positions where if you screw up, he is picking off your Corsairs one by one.
One thing I want to talk about that's true in this matchup, but just true on this map in general, is that there is no easy base to hit into mid-game on Polypoid. Every base is perched up on a hill, including the mineral only.
Yeah.
So it does kind of lend itself. You know, Protoss versus Zerg is a funny matchup because it's like not like either side can really fight uphill very well. I know it's a general rule in StarCraft, but I think it's especially true here. So you do usually end up in these long macro games. We see Zerg kind of is basically not trying to push up, but basically wedge in between the second base, the third base, and the fourth. And then he's going to try to probably look for whatever is the weakest position and attack in. And that could even be the natural. It'll probably be the 12 o'clock spot, but it could be the natural.
And now sacrifices that High Templar going forward for the Storm. Has a lot of cannons being made up at that base, and Zealot's holding the ramp a little bit for him. The Observer comes out, and here nOOB goes. He wants to break through these Lurkers, and you know what? He's doing a pretty darn good job. The Lurkers are going to die pretty quickly, and he should be able to retake this area.
Yeah, you know, nOOB really not respecting the Lurkers, and it looks like he almost didn't have to because there were only 4. Had there been like 7 or 8 Lurkers up there, he would have lost all the Zealots. Generally speaking, the rule is you don't want to have all your Zealots attack into all the Lurkers. But, you know, Hero didn't really have the backing he needed, and so now Hero loses that position.
Well, pushing him back, such an important moment here for nOOB, who is, you know, the supply of Hero is getting a little bit out of hand, I do want to mention. I think that nOOB needs to set up on his high ground locations and make sure he has enough High Templars, because the Hydralisk count right now for Hero is insane.
Yeah, this is kind of scary, and I don't know if it's a wise decision for Protoss to push out here. And so this is going to be actually maybe one of the most important moments in the game. I don't see Templars anywhere, dude. I see Dragoons and Zealots, and I don't see a Terran in this game, and that makes me worried for nOOB right now.
No, it's a little bit tough. I mean, the amount of Hydras here, they are cutting through pretty quickly. 52 energy High Templar comes out, but that's not going to help. 4 Dragoons left over. It feels like nOOB played a pretty solid game, but maybe let up on his High Templar macro, maybe pushed out a little bit too far there, you know, when he killed off the Lurkers, and now he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and this is going to be a pretty big problem. Even though Zerg doesn't have that much of the map, if you can just keep Protoss off of that natural only, it's going to be pretty bad. And again, you know, I was talking about all those Corsairs early on. GG, you know, you don't end up with that many Templars later. It's very subtle, right? Because most of the focus of the game is Corsairs defeating the Mutalisks, and the Mutalisks not doing that much. But then, at the end of the game, you know, the Protoss has like 3 Templars, and there's so many Hydras out. And yeah, I mean, that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that was the type of game I was a little bit nervous for nOOB because it was Polypoid, right? Like, Hero just has such a solid Hydra Lurker macro, right? Like, he's just, he will get a ton of units and move them around well, and it's going to be hard to defeat that. I think I got it. My hats are off to nOOB. He didn't try to cheese or anything. He played an honorable macro game, just wasn't quite up to snuff against the former ASL finalist.
Yeah, I mean, I think nOOB did an okay job, but you could see he was pretty beat up at the end there. We'll talk more about that, but first, a quick break, guys. Free versus Royal coming up next.
아이시스 8.0을 연다는 건 조금 이른 아침을 연다는 것. 나를 움직이는 핑크 에너지. 아이시스 8.0.
디자인을 하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
이번 주 등산 어때? 등산 캠핑?
그래서 주말엔 낚시?
내가 낚인 거지. 그래도 나오니까 좋잖아.
일상에서 취미까지 나누고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피 칸타타.
Welcome back, everybody. We are ready to go into the second best of one for the night. We saw a pretty decent PvZ here where nOOB did not manage to overcome the Hydra threat in the middle of the map. Got to have a lot of cannons, a lot of Templars if you're going to weather that storm and get into late game. And now we go to Free versus Royal for a TVP.
Yeah, and this could be a very good game, I think. Obviously Free, one of the original 6 dragons. He's in very good shape right now. I've watched and casted a lot of his games recently. So definitely know that he is in pretty darn good form for him. And Royal is someone who is he's one of the real big futures of Terran, but he does not always deliver yet. He doesn't have stability in these tournaments yet.
Yeah, this is going to be a big test for him here. By the way, he's not sorry, according to that song. I'm not sorry.
His ID used to be sorry, and he's like, no, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's see what kind of game we're going to have here today. It's going to be on Polypoid again. I think Polypoid is really one of the best modern maps in StarCraft. I think there's so many different cool games that we can have on it. I think it does lend itself to a healthy late game for both races.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the best map in StarCraft right now for sure. It's just it's interesting. The games are dynamic. It's well balanced and stuff. Just a great map. Now, I don't even know how they're going to open, but I'm very excited for this game because I really could see this going either way.
Yeah, this is going to be one of our nerding out PvT casts. We're both just so into the the respective race we play here. I want to see what Free does too, because there's been some major innovations in PvT, but I think the old way of playing PvT is absolutely applicable still.
I'm not sure what style he'll bring because you're right. There's been so many different new things, like all the speed shuttle play that's going on, the double robo play, which seems to be falling off a little bit. There's some new stuff coming out, like expand with no range. That's a very popular build right now. And obviously, we've been seeing a lot of the Gateway Nexus as well with just one Zealot. No idea what he's going to bring out. And of course, over on Royal's side, he's got every build order under the sun in his pocket because he is one of those leading Terrans on the edge of the meta.
Yeah. Let's get into this, man. I'm excited. I want to see what kind of game we've got. Nexus First has also been trending a lot on this map. But there's also many variations of Nexus First. I mean, I got so much to say, but we got to just get into this game before we can really unpack it, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready to go, guys. This is going to be a fight to see who will face off against Hero in the winners match of Group B of the ASL. Let's do this.
Royal's copying Light, man. He's choosing red. That's Light's signature move, is to choose red as his color.
Choosing the color that Tastosis sees every time he loses a PvT or TVP. So we have both players sharing the right side of the map. It's Terran in the north and Protoss in the south. And I'm excited to cast Free and see what kind of game he's going to be delivering for us here.
Yeah. It's, obviously, like, the openers in TVP, they have so much to do with how the game is actually going to flow out. Like, are you going to have that advantage? Because generally, like, I mean, sometimes we get two openers where you're like, okay, even position right here. But a lot of the times in Protoss vs. Terran, you'll have one where it's like, oh, this guy does have an edge, and, his opponent's going to have to do something special from here.
How do you feel about quick pushes in positions like this as Terran? Because, there's basically two ways to play TVP from the Terran's perspective. There's the active play and the passive macro play, right? And an active play would be 2 factory right away, expansion into drop into push, or expansion into just quick push in general. And then there's the other way, which is basically the withdrawn. I'm going to get a 3rd out. I'm maybe even going to get a 4th out. And my plans are to end this game later. First, I have to make sure I can deflect everything Protoss has. What are your thoughts on those two positions? Talk to me.
Well, I think pressure plays are very, very good TVP right now. Like little move outs or threatening move outs with things like expansion 2-fact. Stuff like 1 base 2-fact, it's so gambly, right? Like, you need them to be doing certain things, and you need them to scout you at certain times, right? Like, or you just can't. Like, if the probe gets to your base first, you can't really 2-fact it. Your gas gets eaten up, and you're like, oh yeah, no, it's too hard. So that's not something we see too often. It's a great thing to mix in occasionally. Like, maybe we'll see that one time tonight out of Royal. But yeah, I think like what he's doing here, this looks like it's going to be a gasless expand, and he should be able to do a pressure off of this after the command center, which that is the type of move that I think is really, really good, right? You get your expansion down, and as long as you're not being cheesed, you try to get up 2 facts and, move across the map, see what your opponent's doing, see if you can pick off a goon here or there, make them play more defensively.
I'm really intrigued by Free's build. He went Pylon Gate, Pylon Gas Core.
So that would be 2 Zealots, right?
Yeah, that'd be 2 Zealots for sure. I'm just surprised he does it on this map, because Terran can just, like, the wall in right here is, like, I feel like is very good versus that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just surprised he's doing
probably
this.
Pretty happy. And he is bringing up that next Zealot. A little bit of miss micro there. His Marine does not go up. Oh, my God.
Damn. I can't believe how well this is going, honestly.
Yeah, he needs to get that bunker up, man. But he's put a lot of damage on the probe and the Zealot, so I think he's going to be fine. He hasn't started his factory yet, so that's a little bit of an annoyance for sure.
Yeah, he's going to build up that gas and get that going in a second here. It looks like, honestly, this is going to go much better than I even expected. I'm surprised he didn't end up killing that SCV on the bunker, but the bunker is going to finish. And, I mean, the Zealot can run interference for a little bit, but, ultimately that bunker is going to be filled up like we saw there. And, yeah, I'm a little bit curious about the double Zealot opening. Do you feel like Terran has been put behind at all compared to the Protoss in this position?
His factory is late, right? So that's the main thing. If you're making a couple Zealots, you might have to make a little bit more Marines, right? Like he made like 4 Marines and a bunker before the factory. Like, he wasn't even mining gas, which is just you flexing your build around how you have to deal with it. So I think that what Free can do from here is he knows there's nothing on the map and he can just rally up his ranged Dragoons and, like, it's not 100% to force siege mode, but you might be able to get them to go siege mode, and you can definitely make them lose some mining time. And behind it, it's like, okay, well, you can either go Reaver here or a third base, and that's where it's a little bit tough for Royal to decide what he wants to do. What are we doing
here? Really?
Oh,
well,
okay.
I mean, the rationale
think what
is
he
that
was doing was just using his
back.
shields. Yeah, yeah.
Is that good? I don't know.
Well, I think it is technically slightly good.
Technically good, right? They do have to repair.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but watching him do that, I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you took 6 hull damage, but you cost some extra minerals. So, but yeah, this is kind of an annoying thing here.
Whoa.
Looks like we saw a building cancel there.
Yeah.
He's going into armory, so it is going to be a siege build. Now, this is the situation where if Free chooses, and he doesn't know what's going on in the Terran base, right? But if Free chooses to just make a third Nexus like right now, it's a very good build for him.
I think the problem is that Protoss doesn't know yet, right? He might think there's another factory finishing up here behind this.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's the most normal thing to do,
right?
Really.
Now, Free is going for Reaver after expanding. Keep in mind, the Protoss may try to snipe the tank. It's 4 Dragoons, 2-shot a tank. But you have to have all 4 connecting, and it's harder than it looks to get the Dragoons to actually move out and make the shots connect. They're extremely buggy units. Honestly, even getting Dragoons to fire at the bunker at the right range can be pretty tricky. Okay, so he's got siege up, and that was really the information that Free wanted, was to confirm that there is, in fact, siege mode that's been upgrading. From the Protoss's perspective, you now know that you can, you're not going to be attacked right away when siege mode's upgraded.
Yeah. Siege mode really slows down any attack that Terran may want to make, and he got out his comm stat, which is really nice. He's going to be able to scout that there is a Reaver that's going to be incoming. And look at this from Free, right? He's got the 4 goons up there, and he's gone straight into Reaver before Observer, and he's taken a third. So this is a very greedy play from Free. Like, I think he's playing this very nicely. Like, I guess the double Zealot opener that you were questioning is more of a personal choice. Like, that's just like a stylistic thing that he likes to do. But when you look at the overall follow-up, this is very nice, very clean from Free, and I don't think he's, like, I can't see a world where he's going to take any damage anytime soon.
The shuttle's coming out now. I do wonder if he got shuttle speed with this as well, because that's the only thing that's even greedier than 3 bases, is 3 bases with shuttle speed.
Most people are going quick shuttle speed like almost every game right now.
So this is probably going to lend itself to a pretty strong robo play. We'll see if he gets a second robo or not. That has been toyed with a little bit here in the current modern era of StarCraft, but I think it's a very difficult way to play.
And I'm not sure that this is the best positions. I think if he's top left, it's way stronger. Because you want like a clean way to get into their main base, because that's the hardest thing to defend. So I like, for if I want to see Free do well, I don't really want to see the double robo play. But
sure.
The scans are going down pretty regularly. He has a really good idea of what's going on. Royal did get up to 3 factories here. And there's that 3rd command center. Okay, like everything's like looking pretty good on both sides, honestly. Like I think Free has done the right things in this situation, and so has Royal. Royal's playing very solidly. He's got his Goliath range. He's got his siege mode. He's just macroing, and I mean, he's going to have his upgrades going in his 3rd base when he can.
Yeah, and right now, I want to point out that I think what Royal's done is very safe and middle of the road. He didn't get a command center right away. He's got some factories, but he's clearly not just going to do a 2-base factory push. And so we're building up into what's probably going to be a pretty long and drawn-out PvT here.
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't seem like anyone's going to be able to kill each other. They're like making the moves that are going to keep them in the game, and they're both kind of transitioning at the right times. Like Free is grabbing his 2 bases and then going into Arbiter after that. I think that we'll see him take his 4th relatively soon here. We'll see where he wants to take that, though. And, of course, the E-base starting up. I love this. You see that bunker in the main base? That's like a very new thing that we're seeing. for anti-speed shuttle play.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
yeah, it's like if you dive in now and you're flying over turrets, the extra damage from the Marines in the bunker, because they're not really useful, right? Like, you can make a bunker to try to tank damage out front, but like if they actually have Reavers, this can be a very good thing to do. But it doesn't look like it's multiple shuttles, so it's not going to really make a big difference this game, but just wanted to point that out because that's a cool move.
No, I like that. I think that's a really good idea. And this is sizing up to be kind of a classic PvP opening on both sides. Oh my god, he lost the Reaver.
Yeah, that was pretty sloppy right there. And but
yeah, that's,
you know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes if you kill that Reaver or kill 2 Reavers, it is not a bad idea to try to push. But it looks like really Free is powering on 3 bases. Not taking a 4th, so Free might be sizing up for a bust when the Arbiter comes out here. It's a lot easier to do the bust, though, when you have a Reaver, so it's an unfortunate loss back there.
Yeah, now he's trying to get forward. His Zealots are all stuck behind his Dragoons, though. This is not the cleanest move from Free. Like, how many tanks is he going to get? This is the big thing that we're looking at. 2 tanks?
Yeah,
Royal doesn't care about that. That was not... I don't think that was a great move from Free.
That just looked like an attack that was never, ever going to work.
Yeah. I think if the Zealots get out in the front a little bit quicker there, like if he micros it a bit more, pulls the Goons to the side, get the Zealots out front, he can do a little bit better. But, like, yeah, it just didn't seem all that powerful.
Well, there's only 4 Vultures here, and we have at least over 12 Zealots, so... I think if he can actually run into the tanks, he's going to be okay. He's also split the Zealots out pretty well. Oh, my God. Oh my God.
Drags a mine there. And it's only 1 Goon left. You got to unsiege at that point. Zealots getting a lot of damage down on these tanks, but he will end up clearing it.
Now, as a Terran player, are you okay with this right now? Because he's traded out a lot of his army, right? I mean,
yeah,
Protoss is only barely going to be ahead with this extra expansion, and you know +2 attack, +1 armor are going to finish, and that's when Protoss really does begin to truly fear the Terran.
Yeah, I mean, you're always frustrated to lose tanks. Like, a lot of his tank count was reset there, mostly just for gateway units, right? So that is a little bit frustrating, but the fact that the 4th base isn't actually taking it, like he started the 4th, but it's not actually mining. And, you know, he's got his good upgrades going. He's got a lot of Vultures on the map. That's kind of a good thing for Terran. When the armies get very small, Vultures become really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this is, by the way, a pretty ambitious move here for Terran to expand towards the Protoss. Because, you know, it's going to be... Well, let's see. Hold on a second. He's going to try to come up here. I don't think this is a wise decision by Free at all.
No. You should not be attacking up that ramp. So this is actually a great hold right there from Royal, getting this position. Definitely going to have to lay some mines there. You know, the 12 o'clock in these spots is really hard to hold and reinforce. You kind of stretch yourself really thin. I actually think personally that it's a little bit easier to take that one, and it makes it so that you can do a push into the mineral base of your opponent if they screw up at all, right? Like, this is kind of like your side is safe, so everything has to go around the long way. But yeah, we see it Free getting ready to take another base. I actually really like this as a 5th, this mineral base, because it's a little bit easier to defend in a lot of ways. Oh, look at this! A dropship right there. Isn't that a cute move?
Yeah, well, you know, when Terran takes that 3 o'clock base, you know, there's not an easy way to see the drop incoming right away. So you can just jut that tank out there, hit some workers, and then pick it up and leave like we're seeing here.
Oh, it does drag some mines in and die, but that's all right. A nice little attempt there from Royal, who is sending his Vultures across the map. Oh, he actually takes this natural, picks off the probe. Looks like we do have 3-2 on the way already. Arbiters are out.
Hey, how many forges does Protoss have? Did you see? I did not.
No, I didn't notice. I think it's 1, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure either. But, you know, some Protosses will only have 1 forge going, which I think is an unwise move. I really think the armor upgrade makes a difference. But let's see. I wish we'd click on a unit here. I see his mouse hovering over it, but he hasn't selected it yet.
Yeah, the Arbiter has no upgrades, Tastosis. So there you go.
Where's his air armor?
Yeah, so this is such a good move, right? Like, this base is dead. I wish he had laid mines here. He had vultures up here, and it's so, like, this is what happens when you take these locations on Polypoid, is they get recalled. So his command center is likely going to die here. Oh, this move, though, is fantastic. Doing his own little mini recall over there. He loses that command center, but forces a cancel on the Nexus in that bottom left.
Yeah, very nicely done. If you just keep Protoss in their quadrant, they're going to have a hard time being out, you know, and getting that gargantuan amount of map presence. Looks like the Arbiter goes down, by the way, into the turret. An unfortunate loss.
Yeah, there's like just 2 turrets there.
Yeah.
This is the Arbiter.
The only 2 turrets on the entire screen.
On. I know. Oh, man. It definitely a moment that Free is not proud of right there. But look, he killed off that base. That is a good move. He's got to get those units down to join the rest of his army. He needs to get a nice position here because Royal's starting to move out. He's trying to punish for losing that base. He's also, by the way, massively supply blocked.
Yeah, that's an important thing to note here. The Vulture's coming around over here. You know, it's too bad he doesn't have this pylon wall up because you can send in a ridiculous amount of Vultures and then everything in this location is going to die. A lot of workers getting picked off here. If he can litter this with mines, he might be able to take out that Nexus.
Yeah, it's a slight possibility. I think he'll save that Nexus, but this Nexus will probably be forced into canceling. I think at this point you just target those probes down as quickly as you can here. Yeah, that's what he's going to end up doing. I tell you, this is a lot of what we're seeing here. Like, not only this harassment with these Vultures, but also getting the cancel on bottom left. A lot of this, I think, does go back to the fact that Free did that attack at the 3rd base of Royal, right?
Yeah.
Like, Vultures just start gaining the map if you lose all those units. Whereas if you're closer to max supply and you have Dragoons kind of spread everywhere, it's a lot harder. The reaction time of Protoss to clear out mines and everything is quicker. So, yeah, it's kind of a down and dirty game right now that Free has put us into, and Royal is obliging.
Yeah, I do worry in the long run for Free's ability to grow on the map. If you stay 4-base versus 4-base for the whole game, Protoss will eventually lose, especially with the amount of mines that are placed here, and Terran taking 12 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see if he can keep that 12, because again, the recalls, it's very hard to defend those bases from recalls. Like, you got to lay those mines down so you can at least kill the army, but he's really busy with the Vultures. The Vultures are what are really keeping him alive and giving him edges in this game. They're running all over the place, laying those mines, but there you go. He is laying some at that new base, that 5th up at 12. He's retaken that 3 o'clock base as well. I'm loving the way Royal's playing, man. What a strong Terran.
Yeah, now Free is maxed out, and he's got this big wrecking ball of an army really moving out here. It looks like he's going to be able to deny 12 o'clock. You know, I think the play here now for Free would be to get one more recall off over at this 3 o'clock base. Dude, this is a lot of worker kills.
And don't forget, he just killed everything down at 6 o'clock as well.
Yeah.
So definitely getting a lot of probes here. Free's economy taking a hit, but you know what? He's still got a good bank. He's still got more supply. And yeah, the Vulture's trying to get. He's actually made a lot of cannons now to stop this. So it looks like that base is going to be a lot harder to harass from here.
Dude, this little squad in the bottom left is so good. It's actually harder than it looks for Protoss to get an army over there and clean that up. But, you know, basically the presence of the Vultures, the dropship, and the tanks has stopped what would be the entire bottom left block from being taken. Oh, dude, here we go.
Yeah, only a couple mines there, but they do connect nicely. Comes in and, well, tries to use a D-Matrix, but that's not going to end up working. This is, like, he will clear this. He will save this base. Oh, God, unless we see another big recall, he might be able to get that command center now.
You don't normally see one recall and then another one come in, but this is one way to do it, man.
Yeah, he's really trying to kill off that CC. The SCV's trying to repair here as well. Look at that. He floats it over the SCVs because that's the only way he's really going to keep it alive is if he gets that repair surface area. A lot of units glitching coming up the map, but he's going to save this command, and that is really important for Royal.
Now, he did do some damage, but, you know, sometimes recalls are truly the double-edged sword of Protoss, right? Like, he got in there, but, you know, all the Protoss units were killed. And now Terran seems to be pretty confident that he can move out on the map, but some brilliant storms coming down here. Oh, my God. Is it going to be enough, though?
Oh, I don't think so. He's going to have to pull that back. These 3-3 upgrades just killing right now. Free down in supply for the first time this game is going to have a hard time. This base is going to end up falling. He did take that new mineral only, but I think Royal denying all the bottom left bases multiple times is really such a crucial thing that we're looking at here, because Free is not going to be able to rebuild his economy anymore. If he had like the bottom left, no problem. Like, you can lose this base and still fight on, but in this situation, I don't think so.
Yeah, you know, this push might look like it's what's ending the game, but truly it's the fact that Protoss has not occupied another quadrant. Protoss need at least half the map against Terran if the game goes on long enough. Terran can kind of sit on, you know, about like 30% of the map for most of the game and kind of be okay. Protoss have to take the rest of the map, or they will just get smashed. And now we're seeing Terran really push in towards where the gateways are. And this is one way you can end up losing the game, is that if these siege tanks get a little bit further south, especially if they can get to the ramp, then the entire production line is stuck in trying to get out of this extremely small bottleneck that is the ramp that you start out with in your own base.
Yeah, but look at this. He's actually coming back up with his refills and clearing a lot of these siege tanks. Oh, a ton of goons splatter right there. And Stasis wears off just in the nick of time. I think that's about it for Free. Almost rallies back to kill that army, but yeah, Royal is just relentlessly macroing now.
You know, one of the things about taking another main is that you can put gateways there and you don't get, you know, beaten up so much. The Terran can't really control the Protoss as much, but even though this has been a back and forth and a tit for tat here on the map, we are slowly seeing the Terran's army get closer and closer to that ultimate goal, and Free just taps out. GG. Royal is going to go up against Hero in the winner's match.
Yeah, all right. This was a sick game. I think it was really well played on both sides. Yeah, I wonder, like, Free, when he lost a lot of his army and then we played kind of a lower supply game, was that the correct move? Reducing siege tanks can be fantastic, but you can see players like Light and Royal, when armies trade out, they make a big move after that. Like, he expanded and started sending vultures all over the place. Really inspiring play from Royal. I really liked this game, Tasteless.
It was a good one. You know, I think that was a really good way that Royal kind of took control there from start to finish. Free is going down to the loser's match, but first, guys, we've got a little break. And when we come back, it is going to be best of 3 time with Royal versus Hero. And I don't know who wins that. I think maybe Hero, but I'm not sure. What about you?
Oh, the way that Royal's playing, I could see him maybe taking that down.
All right, guys, that break is now. We'll see you in a minute.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
숙취 요즘 누가 저렇게 깨니? 맨날 똑같은 거, 맛없는 거 깨. 이제 탄산으로 깨. 숙취 해소의 새로운 기준. 가스강. 환도 역시 가스강이 대세.
양념 툭툭. 올리브유 또르르. 우와. 그리고 제로. 너무 좋다. 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로. 함께 모이면 홈파티. 홈파티엔 먹방. 먹방엔 칠성사이다. 맛있어. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함. 칠성사이다.
디자인하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘에 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
퇴근하고 뭐해? 퇴근하고? 오늘은 유셰프, 내일은 유러너, 주말엔 유목수.
그걸 다?
본캐부터 부캐까지 하고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피. 칸타타 콘트라베이스.
지금 이거 문제인가요?
네, 맞습니다.
이거 유닛 맞나요? 이거 생긴 게 이상한데.
답은?
그렇지. 이렇게 생긴 유닛이 있어요? 뭐지? 리본가? 리본?
이거 무조건 벌초입니다. 벌초.
바꿀게요. 한 번 더 드릴게요.
아니 이거 무조건 이거 뾰족한 게 무조건 벌초예요 이거.
벌초.
네.
그렇지.
이거 저거 유닛 같은데 킨 아닌가요? 사이언 베슬. 네, 사이언스 베슬이요. 진짜 김명환 진짜.
퀸 김명환.
뭐 이게 실루엣이야? 핵가 아니에요? 혹시 유닛이야? 뭐야?
이거 뭐예요? 맵이에요? 유닛이에요? 유닛이라고요? 퀸. 네. 이게 지금 너무 밝아가지고 좀 잘 안 보이네. 적은데? 가디언. 적은데?
너무 쉽네요. 이거 매치 포인트입니다.
매치 포인트 맞나요?
네.
이 맵 영어인데. 맵 이름을 좀 쉬운 거였네. 이거 맵 이름이 어려워요, 이거. 모르겠어요.
정답은 카멜로.
와, 카멜로?
폴리포이드 아니 폴리포이드.
폴리포인트 맞죠?
네.
정답은 태백산맥이었습니다.
이거는 이 색깔 자체를 모르겠어요. 이 색이 너무 마음에 안 들어요. 네, 이거 색깔이 이런 맵은 잘 안 보이거든요. 미니맵이. 정답이 뭐예요? 정답을 알려주세요.
정답은
어센션이구나. 오늘 있던 맵인데. 이게 뭐야? 이거 분화군데 이거 아닌가? 나 이런 맵을 해본 적이 없는데 나는? 뭐지 이거? 나 이런 맵을 해본 적이 없는데 나는? 솔직히 유닛 실루엣 저런 거를 처음 봤는데 나 상상도 못했던 유닛들이 나와가지고 좀 당황을 많이 했네.
맵 타일만 그냥 잠깐 그걸로는 내가 제가 봤을 때는 맞추는 사람 별로 없을 것 같아요 진짜로.
앞으로는 이렇게 맞추면 뭔가 상품이 좀 있으면 탑부열에 불포르지 않을까.
최선 다하겠습니다.
16강을 이루고 나니까 8강, 4강 더 높은 데를 바라볼 수 있게 됐고 만족할 수 있는 경기 보여드릴 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
온라인에서 잘한다는 평가를 많이 받아가지고 항상 사람들이 기대를 좀 많이 해주시는데 이번에는 꼭 그 기대를 보답할 수 있도록 16강에서도 좋은 모습 꼭 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
일단 저번 시즌 아쉽게 3등 했는데 좀 더 준비해가지고 이번 시즌은 좀 결승전 가보고 싶습니다.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go to the match that will decide who actually escapes from Group B and moves on to the round of 8 of ASL.
Yeah, this is going to be a great match. A best of 3 between Hero and Royal. Yeah, I'm excited to see what maps exactly that we're going to be playing this on, but what do you think, Tastosis? I could see Royal taking it. I think it is doable.
Yeah.
I don't think of him for his Terran vs. Zerg. He plays like a pretty technical TVZ, so things can go wrong, but he can have a very strong mid-game. So see if Hero's able to hold on against that.
Yeah, you know, I don't know who takes this, to be honest. I lean Hero a little bit, but I mean, Royal looked really solid in that last game, honestly. Like,
oh, he looked so good, man. His decision making was so good that game, which is kind of, I almost feel like that's what needs to be looked at with pro gamers, because you already know that they have their mechanics and their micro and stuff, but on a given day, people will make bad decisions or good decisions, and he made a lot of tough decisions very well.
It's going to be Ascension for map 1. Okay. Yeah, let's get this going, man. I'm excited. I don't know who takes it, but I think, you know, like we were saying before, we think both these guys are probably the 2 strongest players in the group. So
yeah,
it probably will go to 3 games. Should be a nice TVZ. We're ready to get it going. Let's start game 1 now. All right, let's start our game. In the bottom right is, bottom right is Hero. Top center is our Terran.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I was just, I was gonna say, basically, you know, on this map in general, you're gonna see a lot of mech or 1-1-1 openers. I would say in 12 o'clock especially, it's just the layout of the minerals. You can't really defend mutas if you don't go for something like Goliaths or Valkyries, right?
Right.
So that's going to be something on the tip of Royal's mind. And I think he was probably already playing that anyways. I almost never see anyone open straight Marine expansion here, because it's just, it's like too slow, you know? Like you just, you don't defend the mutas well enough, you don't get out well enough. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do, whether that's going to be a mech build or like something very techy with a starport.
This map in general, it's, you know, it's a 3-player map, and I've always found 3-player maps to be kind of funny TVZ. I mean, the Zerg obviously is trying to grow and tech into Hive, but is a lot of this about just stopping the Zerg from getting the 3rd starting location, the one the other 2 races didn't spawn in?
Yeah. I mean, if you can stop that, you win. Like, the 3rd base is generally something you just consider they get. And then, you know, I guess it's different depending upon what opener you use. Like, if you use mech, you can't really stop a 4th base either. Like, the 4th base will come up. But, like, if you open bio, you need to stop that 4th base or at least slow it down significantly. So, I guess a lot of this is just going to matter, like, what he wants to end up opening with. And it looks like it's going to be a command center first, which obviously can be a little bit risky, but he's going to be fine with it here because it is a hatchery first he's against.
Is mech viable at all on this map?
Oh, yeah. It's actually the most popular way to play on Ascension.
Is that true? Now, see, that shows you how much I know about this matchup. I really thought this was a map where you probably couldn't go mech at all. What makes it so viable on this map?
Well, it's a lot of times it's not about the fact that the map is like super good for mech, but that the map is super bad for bio. That's a big part of it, but also don't forget, like, the big high ground area, if you get up there with siege tanks, that's very, very strong. But yeah, I think a lot of it is just the power of Mutalisks and Lurkers on this map. There's so many ramps, so you can't really walk around with your bio that easily, and then the Mutas have so many different ways they can go in that Goliaths are going to counter them a lot better. So a lot of pro Terrans just like to go mech here.
This drone is doing some work, man. What is it with pro gamers who are really good with drones that's so intimidating? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you start out a game and their drone is moving, shooting everything. You're like, oh, man, I'm probably going to lose this game.
Dude, there's nothing for me like, you know, it's the morning, I just started playing, I'm against an unranked barcode, and his drone kills one of my SCVs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not going to go well.
Truly for me, it's the thing that intimidates me the most is when I'm playing against a player and their drone is moving shot, everything of mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like actually having to work way too hard to just not lose my own probe that's in his base.
Yeah. No, it's super annoying, man. Third hatchery going up in the main of Hero, and by the way, this is like really important to mention. He went with the command center first. He's going bio, so this is going to play out a little bit differently than what I was talking about because he's going command center first. And these are StarCraft is so tight at this point. Just so people like really understand that the few seconds difference in every direction makes a gigantic difference.
Yeah,
because he went command center first. He can get his bio out on the map a bit quicker, which means he doesn't need as many turrets defending his main base, because you're basically threatening to kill the Zerg if they overcommit with the mutas on you. So that's probably what we're going to see from Royal here.
That was a pretty big catch, by the way, getting that Overlord.
Yeah.
Really slows down development on the Zerg side of things right away. The Academy's about to finish up. Stim's going to be starting soon, no doubt. It is 3 hatchery Mutalisk on 2 base.
And, you know, it's very popular to play like that right now, to go third hatch in main base. And it's probably going to be very smart to do that, particularly against a command center first, I think, because it would actually be pretty hard to hold on to a third base out on the map. The amount of bio that he's going to be able to feel, the speed of his upgrades in his +1, it's all going to be tip-top because he got away with such a greedy opener.
As the Spire finishes, the Mutalisks are going to be ready to try to harass the Terran here. This is all timed out very nicely. The turrets are going to be finishing right before the Mutas get in there. I don't imagine that this is a particularly hard spot compared to other maps for Terran to defend against Mutas. You have your minerals tucked away pretty nicely in the corner, unlike some maps where they're jutting out and facing, you know, a ledge or a cliff where the Mutalisks can come in and hit corners.
So Royal right now walking out across the map. He has a very small bioforce that he's moving out with. He needs to go home with this. I'm almost surprised that he's out here. Like, you want to force sunken, so in that regard, it's a nice move out, but you don't want to go too far because if the mutas pop out, you're gonna end up losing everything that you've got there. So he does get back in time, no problem there. Factory on the way. Oh, this is really interesting how he's playing this. This is not what I expected at all. I thought for sure with this opener to try to go lighter on turrets, he'd go 4 barracks to really apply pressure on the map. But maybe because it is that third hatchery in main base, he's decided, you know what? There's no point.
The Mutas are going to come through here. I don't think they're going to find much. Even that Marine not quite killed off.
He kept coming back for more.
Yeah. He didn't know when to quit, man. When you have Zerg on 3 hatches like this, Terran has to be very cautious about actually moving out because the Mutalisks alone are already a threat, but Lings and Mutas really can wipe out Medic Marine if they get a good engage.
Yeah, you really have to hit the critical mass, and then you're super good to go. But let's see here. Double Starport coming up very quickly. Like, he started double Starport with only 2 barracks up, which is pretty uncommon. I imagine he's going to add a couple more barracks, like, right away here. But this is very quick teching from Royal. You can really see him utilizing this command center first build and how powerful this can be. Like, everything is tight up. Like, he's got good turret placement all over the place. A lot of turrets have been made, which he could afford because of how greedy his opener was, and he's moving his Marines around very well with it. He looks impossible to break right now.
You could see, again, there's not really any Achilles heel. There's not really any soft spot because of the Terran setup. So, some games we see the Mutalisks constantly moving through the base and damaging everywhere. But this time around, it's not really that much is happening. He is getting enough Mutalisks now that he can rotate the weaker Mutalisks and send them back home. We did not have a hive started yet, right? Or Queen's Nest, I mean.
Queen's Nest has started.
It has started. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So then the hive is going to be just around the corner.
It is, but the starports are pretty darn fast this game. Like, this is some rocket speed starports. So he's going to have his vessels out pretty quickly to try to keep that pressure on. Of course, irradiates against these mutas will allow him to get out of his base, and some nice micro coming out of Hero still. You know, he's got that full group, and he is dangerous.
Yeah, the Hydras now are going to be morphed into lurkers momentarily here. The Zerg has succeeded in the first, maybe not the first, but one of the initial tasks that's basically required of them strategically in order to elongate the game so that they can get into the tech they need, and that's basically taking that hatchery in the bottom left and having lurkers to defend it.
Yeah, that's going to be such an important aspect, but when Royal rolls out onto the map, he is going to be pretty darn scary. Like, he's already got his upgrades going. The vessels are on the way. Irradiate is coming up. He's got a lot of bios saved up right now. And he has a lot of options with how he can continue as well, right? Like, he can just keep going science vessels. He can add in dropships. That's a huge main base that Hero has expanded to. So there's going to be opportunities to maybe drop into there as well.
And a lot of how the rest of this game pans out is going to be decided when the Terran moves out and what they can and cannot accomplish in that period of time. Because we're at the point now where, you know, a lot of the pieces of the puzzle have been filled in here for Terran. He's got detection with the vessel. He's got 75 energy with the vessel as well, so he can irradiate mutas. There's enough medic marine. Oh my god! Okay, good irradiate.
A lot of really weak mutas out there right now. Probably going to need another radiate on them, though. Finally getting out into the map as that detection. I love the pick-off, slowing down that third base as well.
There is a vessel sitting back at home. We see it on the screen now.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
This is such a normal thing, what happens. And again, this spot is a little bit hard. You have to make a lot of turrets there. But a lot of times, basically, when the move-out comes, the mutas will go dive on a counterattack because you already have lurkers up, so you're not really afraid of dying. But he's got that vessel waiting exactly for that move.
Yeah, this is pretty huge, by the way, taking out these medics like this. Reinforcements have not been able to connect. There's the other irradiate. Not the best in the world, though. The mutas weren't quite stacked up enough to where that was very taxing for the Zerg to free up that Mutalisk. But again, you know, the Zerg is basically continuing to develop on their side. Terran's sitting on 2 bases. A third is going to have to be taken eventually here. The Defiler Mound being done and the Consume upgrade, no doubt, being researched is going to get this game to probably one of the most significant techs in all of StarCraft, which is, of course, Dark Swarm being thrown out over and over again. That's when the entire landscape of TVZ truly changes for permanently is what I'm trying to say, Tastosis. I can't talk.
Yeah. By the way, I gotta mention it. I am so impressed with Hero this game. What he has done with these mutas against a near perfect defense. It's one of the best muta defenses I've ever seen from Royal. And then he's like leaving vessels around for trap or radiates and everything, but still the amount of value that these Mutalisks have provided is chilling. It is amazing what we've seen. So really, really well done. We just saw the physics lab on the way as well. BC's very strong and very popular right now against Zerg in the late game. So definitely going to be seeing that coming out of Royal as he finally gets his 3rd and 4th base started here once again.
Okay, so the Irradiates now are freed up from having to focus on Mutalisks, and he can start to try to deteriorate the defenses at that extra main over here by irradiating these lurkers. A little attack over here. A good retreat, by the way, by Royal. You know, you have to really, as a Terran, try to take advantage of as much of the open space on the map as possible. Force a Dark Swarm and then run away.
And look at this, trying to run right up into this natural area. If he can get the Dark Storms down, that's really good. The Radiate has already been cast on the Defiler. He needs to get one right up next to... Oh, this is a heartbreaker for Terran. It's just so annoying to deal with. He's not going to die from this, but look at that. Like, he's going to cancel an upgrade. That's gigantic. He's going to kill off the Armory. Oh my god, he might even cancel this 3rd base again!
Dude, these 2 counterattacks may be the best move in the whole game. Basically, getting Dark Swarm in the natural is like the Terran's version of my hair is on fire. Like, it's so bad for the Terran. The only thing that's worse than that is if you have lurkers with Dark Swarm in the main.
Yeah, but this is terrible too because you just you have to reset all your rally points. You have to wait for it to run out. You have to make sure reinforcements don't get back in there. Again, he lost an eBay. That's terrible. Man, and his third base got canceled again, which is huge. That's huge. Like, Terran wants their third and fourth up by now.
Well, wait, he has a third up, right?
Yeah, but the regular third base location.
Okay, I see. No, I see what you're saying.
Canceled it once, and then the Lings went in and canceled it.
I thought unless I was seeing stuff, I was like, that's not his army at the center left. No, I get what you're saying.
It's a very square army.
Yeah, he's got all his Marines just moving back and forth on the minerals. Yeah, no, I mean, look, Terran's going to mine out pretty quickly here. So a lot of these, the one or two bases that Terran does have on the map become extremely important.
Yeah, but he's still retained his army, which I think is a really important thing to know. Like, he's still got a lot of Marines and medics walk around. He's got a good amount of vessels still. He's getting into his battle cruisers. So there's still things that he can do here. He's, as long as he's moving around and hitting his irradiates and sending the BCs into good locations, it's still a playable game for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It is definitely still a playable game. If from the Zerg's perspective, the one thing he would love to get rid of that would make everything easier is if you could get a kill on the vessels. I don't know if we're going to see this game, but sometimes we have Zergs go for Plague, hit all the vessels, and then the few remaining mutas, because they have those bouncing glaives, they come in there and they hit everything else, and it gets wiped out.
Now, the BCs are trying to harass, but we have some great anti-BC defense over there, like Spores as well as Lurkers next to the Spores to stop this drop, because this is what you would normally do here, right? Oh, I guess it's actually only near the other one. So a nice pick off here on the Spore brings the BCs forward.
A scan over here, trying to get these Lurkers. I think there's enough cover fire here between the mutas and the Lings that this is basically going to get shut down. You don't normally see battle cruisers getting dumpstered like that, but that is what went down back there. I think Terran was probably a lot more confident they were going to have a little bit more presence to generate a threat over there, but instead it's shut down, and the game goes on.
Yeah, Royal right now, he does have some units out here trying to stop the unit flow coming out of this third and fourth base area of Hero. Luckily, he did get rid of that fifth, but yeah, he's just got to continue to send these units out. Ooh, Firebat's coming up and having some great trades right there, but the Plagues are starting. I saw the Ultralisk Cavern, and this is going to get scarier and scarier for Royal.
Went for an Overlord eat there. That was kind of weird to see. He's supply blocked himself now.
Yeah, I think it must have been a misclick, right?
It must have been, right? There's no rationale for eating an Overlord over a Zergling.
Not much.
No, yeah, I'm trying to think of one, and I can't find it.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Irradiate's coming down on these Ultralisks. Keep in mind, the Irradiate does damage the Marines when they come in there, but he is thinning out those numbers quite a bit. If this push could come in here and actually work, he could bust down this base and knock Zerg back onto 3 bases. That would be a very tough position for Hero to recover from.
Yeah, I don't think he's able to do it right now. I think he's really got to keep his army alive, and if he tries any crazy dives and they don't work, a counterattack is probably going to kill him. So
yeah,
keeps these units around and, still kind of just running around the map. He's got to keep clearing things. Like, look at this. This is awesome with all these Firebats. These little attacks that Hero's trying to come up with. If you don't have Firebats with your army, he's going to wreck you with it. Dude, that's going to be the 3rd cancel on this base if he gets this.
Yeah, he needs to repair this. Okay. Lings unattended will destroy every building you have. You got to be very careful because when that crackling upgrade finishes, I mean, there is no way if Blizzard was patching this game that would have ever stayed that much damage.
No.
The amount of damage Lings
That's
do,
for sure.
And I'm talking about Brood War, a game where everything is busted. Okay. I think out of all the busted things in the game, nothing is more busted than Ling Adrenal upgrade.
It's pretty insane, truly. Okay, so right now Royal, he's bleeding in several areas, but he's still got his army in the middle.
Did you see that Firebat attacking that Ultralisk? I'm pretty sure the fire actually healed the Ultralisk. I think I saw it heal it, man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it does damage, but you know, these units do heal over time. I'm like, this is wrong. Look at the Firebat trying to heal this. I can help you.
Ultras like fire, man.
Yeah,
sure.
they love fire.
Well, look at how Hero is continually pushing him further and further back. Like, about 2 minutes ago, you know, we were up like 30 supply for Royal or 40 supply for Royal, and now suddenly we're about even. He's starting to just get in everywhere. He's got enough economy now to just pump out Ultras, as well as still have some Lurkers and Defilers in there. So you can see what a hard time Royal is having against this.
Yeah, I think Royal is almost to the breaking point here, because Zerg is really able to dominate the map. If this base is killed off, I think it's GG. Now, that being said, I actually think Royal has a realistic shot of holding over here. But you got to be careful in moments like this. This is a lot of damage, and all he needs to do is get a couple of Dark Swarms over that base and stop the mining, and all of the income just halts for Terran.
Yeah, this is getting pretty bad right now with all these Ultras running in, the Defiler kind of waiting off to the side as we see there. Command centers are getting lifted off all the time. Royal is getting worse and worse trades. Even if he's killing off things like these Ultras, yeah, he just GG's, and he should. It's a best of 3. There's no reason to stay in that game. He was not going to be able to come back. I got to say, I think that was a really good game on both sides. And I think that the way that Hero dealt with the first double dropship to BC attack at his third base, that was like the crucial moment of the game. Like, his mutas did a lot of work for him as well, but dealing with that as cleanly as he did, right? That 2 dropships full of Marine Medic, that's 20 supply, right? And then 2 BCs. That is, like, Royal needed to do something with that. And as soon as he didn't do something with that, Hero did not look back.
Yeah, a really very impressive game on both sides. I mean, we're far from done, guys.
Yeah.
That was just game 1, but that was really, you know, a Zerg hanging on in every sense. And I really like the opening from Royal, you know.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you get away with a command center first, you're in pretty good shape, and I think he defended well. He left that radiate trap that you spotted in the main base. That was amazing, even though it never ended up working. And Hero did not do that particular move that we see, like, I would say like 80% of TVZs, we see it at some point. But, you know, Hero had other plans in mind. It was just a very well-played game on both sides.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough one to top, to be honest. I've never have seen battlecruisers quite dumpstered like that, man. Like, they're in there and they get wiped out like any other StarCraft unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you can get them targeting anything else, Scourge wreck them.
Yeah.
But, and other things have higher priority. If you're attacking a Spore, they don't switch to the Scourge.
All right, guys, we're going to Revolver for map 2. The series continues on now with Hero versus Royal. If Hero can win one more, he's moving on. You never played Metal Gear Solid, right?
No.
Okay. You don't know who Revolver Ocelot is, then?
No, I have no idea.
You never even
who
heard that name?
I've never heard that name. I know what an Ocelot is.
Well, it's
a cat.
Do you also know what a revolver is, Tastosis?
Yeah, that's a gun. Yeah, and a map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had some.
Am I getting close to what it is? Can you tell me the joke, Tasteless?
No, I forget about it. I just if you haven't played the game, there's no point. I can't believe you haven't played that at all. Then again, I haven't played Pokemon, so
yeah, I know.
We're
right?
a couple of posers,
weird,
man.
I know.
Couple
There's
of
weird
fake
stuff
gamers.
that we're both missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like Royal is going to end up doing ARAX in the middle, maybe? Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah, he is right there. Look at that.
Okay.
Well, okay.
So will it be a single 8-racks? If you're going to 8-racks here, I think you have to follow with Factory because it's going to be too much float time to get it home. So you're going to need to have a Vulture in case of a Ling counter. So yeah, I think that's what we'll end up seeing here from Royal. Now, 8-racks is like normally you don't end up killing your opponent. We did see that 8 racks in Group A from JYJ. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where the 8 racks did so much against Soma.
Yeah, this is... let's see what happens this time around here, man. I mean, Hero, obviously not going for pool first hatch on 12. By the way, bunker rushes never actually end games anymore, right?
Well, if you do like 2 barracks, they can. But with the 8 racks, like this build, a lot of times you don't even make the bunker. Like, I mean, you want to, but you have to like afford a factory and stuff like that too. So it gets a little bit tight, and like they should be able to hold, right? Like the single 8 racks is not ever supposed to kill the hatchery. Like if it does, your opponent really screwed up. That's for sure.
But there was like a whole period where bunker rushes were the thing. They were like the rush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like Zerg had 4 pool and Protoss had cannon rushes, and then Terran had bunker rushes. But people got so much better at controlling drones that it was no longer as much of a threat.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's still good. It's still something you should mix in here and there. Now here he comes. Now we're gonna have to see Hero send down quite a few drones here. Has to take it very, very seriously. As you can see, doesn't start a bunker right away. His money lines up just right. He starts the factory. Now the next thing he builds, like, he can get into a bunker if he sees that opportunity.
Yeah, these Marines, they're going to have a hard time getting up. Oh, hold on. The bunker's actually been placed down here. And honestly, the Marines have pretty good cover.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful, too. When you use mining move for the drones, they can get stuck on top of each other, and they can glitch if they don't end up getting any mobility. Another drone goes down. Good targeting on the first ling. All the Marines could have escaped in the bunker, but he comes back here. Remember that a creep colony loses HP when it becomes a sunken colony. It loses 100 HP. So if you get it below 100, it has 1 HP. So like an SCV can run up there and just touch it, and it explodes.
Yeah, you can basically solo it. Look at that. Beautifully done right here from Royal. He has gotten so much damage with this. It's crazy. Oh, I'm surprised he doesn't take the step forward.
I'm losing my mind.
I guess you're definitely going to lose a Marine if you go up to kill the sunk. But so maybe he's just like, no, let's just do it this way. But I would like it dead, because that would make the Vulture so much better, right?
I feel like he's supposed to go up there and get it, but I mean, obviously
maybe he
Royals
didn't click on it. Maybe but he knows that.
No, he
you know?
knows, dude. Tastosis.
Maybe he doesn't know Tasteless. You say it each time, so like maybe he doesn't watch your cast.
He does. He's like, there's at least 100 HP on that.
Yeah. All right, Vulture comes up, and Hero is in just the worst shape ever, man. This is looking really good for Royal.
Now, Vultures are so bad at buildings that I think the Vulture actually dies to the sunk, but...
I think he would barely kill it before the Vulture died here, if nothing else is there. Oh, no, it's up to 26. Never mind, you're probably right.
I could take out like 12 Vultures before it dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah,
Hydra Den.
Okay, so kind of looking a little bit like that JYJ versus Soma game, but Hero is in worse shape than Soma was. And Soma, with like all the might of all the Zergs in the world, barely came back and won. And also Royal is considered better than JYJ. So I look at all these factors, Tasteless, and I think this, like, at any point if Hero wants to GG, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, okay, we're going to get our closure. No. If that sunken colony doesn't die, I'm going to need therapy. Like, unresolved issues in my life. Where I'm like, it could have been killed. It could have, the Vulture could have been in the main shooting stuff.
I know. It seems weird, because he had 3 Marines, and one of them was already damaged. But, like, I think if he just walks forward and right-clicks it, like, he kills that, and then the Vulture is so deadly. It's just, like, has free reign.
If
he loses this game, Tasteless, we're gonna have to really feel sad about that.
You know what's actually funny is there's a lot of people that don't know about this little tidbit of information that the creep colony loses hit points when it becomes a sunken colony.
Yeah.
It's actually some, like, kind of weird esoteric stuff. Oh, Tastosis. It's going to happen.
He's never going to get that, man. That's going to live forever.
But I've definitely seen in my past people like lose their sunken colony and then freak out. Like, how did it just explode? Oh, it's gonna get killed, Tastosis. You gotta believe. You gotta believe.
Oh, he gets it. And now vultures are in his main base. That's never good. Speed is done. Mines are done. I think Hero GG's here.
The vultures, did you see them? They almost posed as they got in.
Yeah.
They almost did some kind of Power Rangers pose as they got in there.
It looked like he told them to lay mines, but then gave the move command too quickly. Like maybe he's playing a little bit nervous. Dude, this is too much damage. This is too much damage. We should go to game 3, I think.
Yeah, I think we are ready to get into game 3, no doubt. Again, the sunken colony is gone. Spider mines exploding on larva. GG. Tied up 1-1. Excellent play there by Royal. Watch out, Zerg's on the ladder. This is all you're going to be experiencing from Terrans right now.
I know, right?
2 ASL games with us, you kidding me?
And, you know, this is one of the new maps that has that buildable center. So, something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, tied up 1-1, Tasteless. After watching those 2 games, who wins game 3?
I don't know, man. It's a tough call. I think we got to see what the openings are going to be. The thing is, game 1, I think, is a better representation of how good these guys are. Looks like one of our players, I didn't see who, got up to go take a break or became invisible. So we might be chatting for a little bit longer because Royal had to get up.
Yeah, probably wants to regather himself in the bathroom or something like that.
Yeah, we do allow the pro gamers 1 break in the series for a bathroom emergency, or if they want to just go splash water on their face and ruin their makeup. That is an option as well. And yes, guys, they do wear makeup. We do put makeup on the pros. It's a TV show.
Yeah,
except for some of the pros that show up and then say, I don't want makeup, I don't wear makeup. We go, well, everybody on TV wears makeup. And they go, I don't want to do it. And we go, all right, fine.
Yeah, you can't make them.
Can't make them do it, but
well, most of them do, though.
Yeah, most of them do. Most of them get it.
All right, Royal is
if
back
I don't have
ready.
TV makeup on, I look like a Walking Dead zombie. Okay.
Yeah.
If
It's
I
the
wanted to
funny
go
thing about you and I, Tasteless. We're
Yeah.
like yin and yang. I need makeup to look like a Walking Dead zombie, and you look like it without.
Yeah, well, you have very nice, luscious skin, but I am basically Freddy Krueger as a gamer.
Yeah.
I have the worst skin ever. All right, guys, we're ready to go. This is game 3. The winner moves on to the round of 8. Either Hero or Royal. Let's go.
All right, Hero in the bottom right of Goodnight, and in the top left, Royal. I tell you, I'm digging the new maps, man, and I'm really happy that the new ladder pool on Brood War is a bunch of the ASL maps. Super cool and super fun because you can really take what you're watching in these games and kind of copy it over if you're going to play yourself.
Yeah, and I think that it's great that these maps are more in the realm of normal while still having some creativity. I mean, Sparkle was interesting to cast on, but for the average gamer, that does not really do a lot to help you. You know what I mean? I mean, a huge cross-section of the viewership does watch this to study. You know, when you watch a game on Sparkle, you're like, okay, well, that's kind of neat to know, but doesn't help me.
Yeah, we'll never see that again.
Yeah.
Nor any map quite like it.
So you use Corsairs on island maps in PvP. That's good to know, I guess. Okay.
Well, all right. So, trying to think what we'll see out of Royal here. It's like a more normal map, right? You can play this map pretty normally, pretty standard style as Terran and Terran vs. Zerg. And the last map he could have as well, but he chose that for a proxy barracks play. Maybe that makes Hero play a little bit more carefully or something like that, but will he be going just for a barracks expand here? Because that's something we haven't seen out of Royal yet today.
Yeah, he might have a little bit of each kind of style with him today, bringing a pretty big range. You know, we talk about this a lot in the StarCraft 2 casts, and I want to point out it's not as much of an applicable rule in StarCraft 1. In StarCraft 2, we talk a lot about build order rotation, and that you need to, you could do one build one game and try to set it up for a different build in another game. A lot of these builds are very, very hinged on the map and the distances. Not that StarCraft 2 builds aren't, but there are definitely, builds you can rotate in on there's more. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's many more build orders you can get away with in StarCraft 2, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you're right in a way. But yeah, both of them have like both of them are so incredibly deep. It's hard to make like big sweeping rules and statements, because there's like so many little caveats and stuff.
Sure.
Look at this. He's trying to hide his SCV, but Hero's not having it, man.
Yeah, he sees it. He knows.
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm worried about for Royal. He went Command Center first and got away with it and lost a macro game. Here, he's going Barracks Expand, which will always go into bio play against 2-hatch because you don't have time to do anything else. So if he couldn't win with the Command Center first, this is... like, everything is significantly slower with this. Your macro's slower, your economy's smaller. You just... that's just the way it is, right? Like, anytime you get to make your first building be your expansion building, you're going to be in great shape if that doesn't get punished. So, how is he going to do this against Hero? Hero already showed that he can fight against this as well as he did.
Is this drone going to be able to block this? You can block that big ramp with one drone. Is that correct?
Oh, it's a reverse ramp. I don't believe you can.
Well, reverse ramps are better for blocking in some situations.
Like, reverse ramps, if there's a lurker egg on a reverse ramp, I just go up the ramp. You know how many Zerg players lose MMR on reverse ramps? It's so hilarious.
Yeah, but
They'll
lurker eggs are hard to set up on ramps. Because doesn't the Hydra kind of moves a little bit when it turns into the egg, right?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
Like it
well,
does.
The thing is, you can't block the reverse jungle ramp, at least with a lurker egg. And like, I think probably the amount of Zergs that think that you can, I think the Terrans think that you can too, because they probably gunk up the ramp. Because yes, I'm tasteless. There's very few games that I get free MMR in, but that is one of them.
Because I feel like with a Zealot, at least, I could always get a block on a reverse ramp. I have...
Well, the different reverse ramps have different properties, too. It's like it matters. Like space tile sets...
Let's actually explain this for a second.
Space ramps are always wider.
StarCraft,
like
when the game came out, guys, it did not actually have reverse ramps. When we say reverse ramp, when you see a ramp that starts on low ground at the bottom and goes up to high ground at the top, that's a normal ramp. And then map makers figured out how to make the ramps upside down.
Yeah, the original maps, basically certain spawns, you'd have to shape the main in a terrible way to get a ramp coming down from it. So you had, like this ramp we're looking at right there.
That one, yeah.
That is a reverse ramp. You can see it's kind of tiley and patchy. And they actually don't work quite as well as regular ramps, but it's better to have them than not.
Yeah, otherwise you'd have a lot of weirdly configured mains. And so if you look closely at it, not that ramp, but if we ever get a shot of the other ramp in the bottom right, there's almost like an Escher drawing element to it. You know, it almost looks kind of like it's upside down. That's because it is.
Yeah. All right, so he's going up into 4 barracks here very, very quickly. And this is just a very pressure-heavy play. This is actually what I thought he would end up doing with his Command Center first play, because that generally plays into this quite well. But he's doing the Barracks Expand, which is totally fine. He's basically going to be pumping out Marine Medic and moving forward consistently. Like, he is going to move forward, and he just wants the Mutas to play with his Marines and Medics rather than harass. So he won't have as many turrets in his main base and at his barracks as you would normally have with a 2 or 3 barracks play.
So these mutas are coming up now. Now, you see how the minerals guys point to the outside? That's a dream for the Zerg. You know, SCVs get pulled to the back.
Yeah, looks like he will pick off a couple there. Ooh, he misses that one. Gets it on a bounce there. So 3 SCVs already going down, trying to pick off a few more. But as range finishes, Royal is going to get out there, and that's going to force the Mutas to think twice.
So, as long as you're able to take these pot shots, it's kind of a menace here for the Terran. By the way, see those scans, guys? He's looking for that third. Where is it going to be? It's actually down here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's the most important thing for him to figure out, right? He needs to push out towards the third base because that's what's going to force the mutas away from harassing him. They're going to have to come down and attack into his Marines instead. Now, +1 is already done, which is really nice, but his Marine count out here isn't that high. So he does still have to be a little bit careful, and he probably has to reinforce at least once before he can make it across the map. Like, this little group is not going to do it alone.
It's this funny concept because you would think the Marines would be safer to just stay back at home, but this at least forces the Zerg to try to pay attention to the Marines and not the workers. It's like a very, very weird concept if you're not familiar with the matchup.
Yeah, but it's like one of the most important things. Otherwise, the mutas are just like too strong harassing you. So, look, the mutas are going up, but Royal goes down. And notice how the mutas have to turn around immediately. Like, he's trying to get Royal to turn around, and Royal's trying to get him to turn around.
Yeah.
But there's more staying power with the army of Royal, so it's actually Hero who has to turn around if they're both playing correctly.
I mean, at this point in time, I don't think this army is small enough, I'm talking about Royal's army, that it can actually be overtaken by the Lings and the mutas. Am I correct about that?
No, the Mutaling, I think, can kill this.
Oh, really?
If he engages it just right, he needs... Oh, he sees it. He should do one more small reinforce, and then he should have critical mass for killing this. But look, the Lings are getting up. He's just about ready to do it. Here we go. Gets in on top of it. Let's see how this one goes. Dives in with those Mutalists. A lot of Mutas are being targeted down. The Lings doing their job, but here's the reinforcement. That's going to force the Mutas to turn around. They had almost cleared that out.
Whoa.
A lot of Mutas end up dying, so that reinforced from Royal doing fantastic.
That was beautifully done. One principle that we got to point out that's at play here is that both these armies are what we would call glass cannons. Like, they can just, if things are mismanaged, all the Lings and the mutas can be shot down very quickly. And the same is true for the Marines and the medics. So you have to be very careful when you're engaging. It's one of the few matchups where both armies have a lot of brittle pieces to them.
Yeah, and, you know, right now, it's harder to rebuild that as Zerg, I think. As soon as you get one army broken, that's Mutaling, the rest are going to be a lot easier. But he's getting into Lurkers right now, which is incredibly important. That scan goes down. He sees two Lurkers morphing on that third base ramp. So it seems like Hero's going to be okay, despite the fact that Royal took a slightly better engagement up there.
He's coming down now. And, you know, again, the Lurker eggs, by the way, guys, it's important to understand, you're never going to kill Lurker eggs with Marines. So it is essentially an impregnable wall for the Terran. So when you see those eggs there, then you know you can't get in there. And once the Lurkers burrow, then you're going to know that you're never going to get up there with Marines. So instead, he's going to try to move down here. He's coming towards the natural. There were two Lurkers burrowed at the nat, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. I don't think you can actually break anything right now. Yeah, look at that. 3 Lurkers, plus some more eggs, plus Lings. You're just not able to do anything here. Target an Overlord, run back. It's important to have some map control and kind of walk around, pick off Lings, pick off Mutas, do whatever you can. But look at Hero come in on top of these units. Oh, beautiful move. Beautifully done here from Hero.
Oh, Hero's so sick. And now the Lings and the Mutas can clean this up. And that's a big reset button there on the Terran. The Defiler Mound, while all this happened, the Defiler Mound's up. Consume is being researched. And, I mean, this has just been a very impressive game here from Hero so far. I think Royal made some progress, but not enough.
Yeah, maybe going a little bit too far out there. He has played a very solid game, and he's not dead yet. But Hero just looks so good here tonight, Tasteless. Like, every game that he's played, I mean, I guess he got Bunker Rush, but overall, I'm just watching him. It's like, oh, yeah, no, he's just doing everything right. You know, he's bringing up the right amount of units at the right time, taking the right engagements, flanking correctly, harassing the right areas.
Yeah.
Everything looks great. Look at this. He sets up his 4th base. That is an instant setup he just did. He's like, bam, 4th is taken. That's not breakable.
Yeah, that's I didn't really appreciate some of the perils Terran are going to have against Zerg here until I saw that base right there taken, and I didn't realize, like, oh yeah, that's just not a base you're going to be able to get. It's small enough that even if you tried to drop it, the Lurkers would kill you too.
Yeah, and like the reason why he's able to do that so easily is the forward units of Royal that he flanked and killed. There was supposed to be some map control for Royal at this point in the game, but as soon as he lost that, Hero instantly takes a 4th base up a ramp with 3 lurkers there, and suddenly it's like, okay, well, you can irradiate those, but he can reinforce by the time the lurkers die.
This is a pretty nice chase over here. He's continuing to hit those lurkers. They're going to try to back up now, but you know, I think this isn't too much of a loss here for the Zerg. You're basically just keeping the Terran busy. Do we know where a Defiler is? Does he have one in his natural yet?
I haven't seen, but he should have one by now. You can see his supply getting up really high here as well. Looks like Royal going to try to take another base. He's actually floated the factory over there. I'm not sure why. If he lands it and makes siege tanks, I'm gonna like cry with joy. That'd be such a cool move. But yeah, the Marines come over here to scout. They see that's a Nidus coming up, and he has lurkers up the ramp. So, I mean, maybe you walk over and irradiate, but that's about as much as you can do right now.
Yeah, but there's enough lurkers there. I think he could basically reset them with a few more. And this means that Zerg is going to get that extremely important fourth gas is what I mean. Hold on, though. He's going to try to come up here now.
Yeah, radiates 2 of the lurkers, but again, with the Nidus up, he should be all right. He should be able to just pop out Defilers and things like that. Oh, a Defiler actually just walking towards the army right now. Looks like it does turn. Darkstorm goes down, so has to pull back from there, of course. Nice irradiate. Oh, Plague already done. Juicy, juicy Plague.
Yeah, beautifully done there. You know, Terran is now beginning to take the entire top of the map. He's going to need to be prepared, though, because when the Zerg has a 4th gas, it does mean that Ultralisks can become a thing. And, you know, the game changes a couple times for Terran against the Zerg. The first time is when Lurkers can be out, and that's when you realize, okay, I can't safely move on the map without detection. Second big moment is when the Defiler comes out because of Darkstorm and Plague, 2 of the best abilities in the game. But there's a third time when Ultralisks are out, and a lot of times the Zerg can basically fight you and have way more sustain than almost any other matchup in the game.
Yeah, that gets very tricky to play against, but look at this. He's actually doing a little bit of a backstab, and Royal does not have vision of this. He is in terrible trouble. I mean, there's just going to be Darkstorms in his natural, maybe even up his ramp into his main base. This is an almost game-winning move right here.
Yeah, this is huge. The command center is going to be lifted off. A lot of SCVs are going to be killed off in the process as well. Dark Swarm on top of that. And this is really the Terran's Achilles heel, is if you get inside their main with cracklings or lurkers, and there's Dark Swarm there too, even though there's only Firebats coming out, the Lings are still a little bit better than the Firebats.
Yeah, well, they pop out and they aren't in any sort of formation to really fight, so they actually do die pretty quickly. Now, he catches this Ultra Defiler army moving across, actually picks the Defiler really quickly, gets some great irradiates as well. This is all well and good, but is he going to have enough to like hold on everywhere and regain control of this map?
Yeah, luckily those Ultras are tanky enough. Even if he overextends, he can pull back out. But that was a big slowdown there for the Terran in general. Like, that was pretty rough. We got to see where Zerg is going to try to hit next. Do you think it's better for him to try to go up into the main again, or should he be trying to hit? Oh my God, Artosis! Did you see that?
Oh, it's awesome.
This is a trick we don't often see, guys. Okay, I got to explain that. I'll just drop what I was saying before. When you attack move, the game will always hit other attacking units, not medics, not workers. And so if you have a factory over 2 medics like this, the Ultras can't attack on there and therefore cannot get up there. But Lurkers, with their shot that does damage to everything, can.
Yeah. Really, really cool move, but he will bring the Lurkers up to clear that out. In the meantime, trying to break this base. The Nidus just staying alive, only getting it down to half health there before everything pops out of the Nidus to send him away.
Yeah, we've got a lot of pressure over here on this 4th base, and you know, if the Zerg loses this, the Zerg could just lose the game. That means that every Ultralist that's going to be lost from there on out, it's going to be devastating. And it doesn't look like, oh no, hold on, is Zerg going to come in here and try to save this? Instead, it's going to be a counterattack.
Whoa, Scourge going after these vessels. Kind of a risky move there from Royal, trying to send his vessels down for some free hits. The Scourge cleaned that up, but Royal gets this base killed. Very strong move. How did he even save the top right against 2 Lurkers and 3 Ultras? I will never know, because we did not show it on camera. But the fact that he saws top right, suddenly I'm looking at this game in a new light. I think that Royal is taking some serious control of it.
Yeah, I think the fact that Royal has this main in the top right is what's keeping him really in this. But these Ultras are coming up here. They're hitting this base. I mean, Zerg does have the ability to basically deny expansions for a little bit, but again, that top right base has basically gone untouched. These are medics healing each other, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So it takes a while, but finally he is going to break through. He kills off the medics, which means top right isn't going to be mining. Top mid isn't going to be mining. Hero is killing a lot here. This is actually becoming anyone's game right now.
Yeah, things are getting pretty scrappy as both sides are really beginning to suffer losses here.
Yeah, these are the type of fights that we see in the center that Hero does not want to be taking right now. He can't let these little groups of bio be so efficient, killing off Ultras and things like that. BC's, of course, going to be really, really valuable. Nothing really hits them. Do you have the money to make Mass Scourge to clear BC's? Not really.
Ooh, this is a big catch here to get these drones. Remember, Zerg don't operate off that many drones in games often, so to get that is huge. But these Ultras and Lings are going to come up here, and the surround, I think, is good enough if these Lings can just get over here and do some damage. Oh my god, you know, the medics were running just enough interference that Terran wins that fight. That's wild.
Yeah, well, he can kill him with the next group, but he's losing a lot of drones during all this as well. The Nidus gets killed off also. Okay, here, oh man, medics can stand on that ramp and really be annoying here.
Yeah, look at this.
At least he can target him this time.
Yeah, at least, but I mean, it's definitely not an efficient trade here. There's enough Zerg now coming down here that I don't know that Terran can actually stop this bottom left base. Terran does reclaim 12 o'clock, but keep in mind the top right has been destroyed. So Terran is barely tugging along here on 3 bases.
Yeah. Oh, man. We got to see Hero be a little bit more careful in this. You can't just send 2 Ultras willy-nilly up to die. That was like 2 Ultras and a Lurker thrown away. Every unit right now has huge, huge value. And look at these BCs, Tasteless. This is a very good situation for Royal now, I think, with this many BCs out.
Yeah. Even with the Scourge taking it out, you're going to need way more gas and way more Scourge to try to win that. Zerg seems to be ready to almost throw everything at 12 o'clock in a second here. But, by the way, the 6 o'clock base for Zerg, is that going to mine out soon?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. Oh my god, the Yamato, though, goes down. That is a huge moment. Only 3 Hydras popped out, so he might not have enough to stop those BCs in the bottom left.
Yeah, this is becoming a pretty insane TVZ, dude, honestly. Okay, the Spores are out now, and the Spores are maybe the greatest anti-air thing there is, but even this is not going to be enough. And I think this base is going to be taken out. More Scourge, more Mutas are inbound right now.
Yeah, and I think Royal's just barely doing enough everywhere that Hero is going to fall apart at this point. I think he was just a little bit too sloppy a couple times. Oh, the Muta and Scourge come in. No, not quite enough there. He's trying to make some more Spores as well, but Royal taking yet another base. He's landed another command center, I think, also down there at 9 o'clock. And Hydra's now coming in. Okay, so the BCs will get cleared. This is a crazy Game 3.
This is a wild one, man. We still don't really know who's going to take it. It could go either way still, but another push is coming down here. But as long as a few Dark Swarms are here, I think that Zerg can survive.
Yeah, he's got a Ling under Dark Storm, so those Marines can't do anything here. Yeah, they have to back up. The BC just kind of flying around, seeing the sights before he dies to whatever it is he's going to die to. Going to stop here down at 6 o'clock, and hey, this is a really nice move as well.
And now, I don't know what's going to happen, man. I mean, he's interrupted mining to the 3rd base, I think inadvertently, but it's still going to work.
Now, I think the Vessels and the BCs are just too efficient here.
I think you're probably right. Well, we need some Lurkers.
Like, yeah, well, we need just a little bit of everything from Hero at this point. He's barely got enough supply to stay alive right now. But that's why their radiates and the Yamatos and just the tankiness of the BCs are going to be too much for him, I think. It looks to me really like Royal should be able to take this from here.
Finally, that battlecruiser is brought to an end. His rampage against Hero finally ending here. Yeah, I think there might just be enough here for Royal. I mean, I know the supplies are quite different, but Zerk can really get by without very much. But it looks like this base is going to go down. He has some fire bats in here, dematrixing them.
Oh man, Defense Matrix fire bats are so good. And look at this Bio Army coming up. I don't think there's any way for Hero to hold on at this point. Royal pushing forward. I mean, the Darkstorm goes down, but it actually helps Terran in this situation, as rare as that may be.
Yeah. And I think that should be the end of this game. We just don't see enough of anything here for Zerk to really make that much of a difference.
Yeah, some Scourge hitting these vessels, but that's going to be a GG. Royal advances in first place of Group B. Really, really well done. What a series that was.
I mean, that was a great TVZ. This ASL, round of 16, has kicked ass, man. So Hero's not eliminated. He will go to the losers, not losers match. He'll go to the final match here. But, I mean, that was, you know, a TVZ to write home about.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, guys, go out, get your pen, your paper, get a stamp, and write a letter to your mom about that TVZ, because that was badass.
Grandma, Grandpa, I saw the most exciting TVZ.
Dude,
we're gonna have an interview.
It was such a good game, Tastosis. Let's go to the interview. Let's see what Royal has to say about that.
You know what? Yeah. Let's go to the interview, Tastosis.
All right, I'm glad. I don't want to fight anymore, Tastosis.
I don't want to fight either. Let's go to that interview, see how Royal's feeling. He has moved on to the round of 8 of the ASL.
ASL 시즌 12 16강 B조 경기 함께하고 계시는데요. 첫 번째 8강 진출자가 탄생했습니다. 김지성 선수입니다. 김지성 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
ASL에서의 첫 8강을 이뤄내셨습니다. 경기 전 인터뷰에서 준비도 완벽하게 해왔다라는 자신감이 오늘 경기력에서 그대로 보였습니다. ASL에서 이렇게 첫 8강의 쾌거를 이뤄내셨는데요. 지금 기분이 어떠신가요?
사실 8강 가도 좀 사실 덤덤할 줄 알았는데 첫 진출이라는데 되게 지금 좀 기쁘고 끝나고 나니까 되게 긴장이 되네요 지금.
게다가 승자전에서는 패승승이었습니다. 마지막 세트 역시 정말 위기의 순간들이 있었는데 끝까지 버텨내면서 빈틈을 만들어내는 김지성 선수였어요. 마지막에 그 GG가 나오기 전에 굉장히 좀 흥분하는 모습이 보였거든요. 그때 기분은 어떠셨나요?
사실 진짜 3세트 도중에도 약간 그 게임을 거의 졌다고 생각을 해가지고 좀 포기를 할까 생각을 하고 있었는데 그래도 첫 경기 때도 역전 당하다 보니까 또 역전 당하기가 좀 싫더라고요. 그래가지고 어떻게든 끝까지 해보자 하고 했는데 그게 잘 됐네요, 다행히.
오늘 김지성 선수가 전체적으로 환자기를 굉장히 잘해오셨다는 느낌을 좀 받았습니다. 물론 첫 번째 세트 좀 승리를 내주기는 했습니다만 충분히 유리했던 초반 상황이 있었거든요. 백더블 이후에 마린들의 움직임도 굉장히 좋았고요. 그리고 그 이후에는 센터 베럭스로 상대방의 좀 허를 찌르는 모습들도 있었습니다. 그럼 환자기를 어떻게 해오셨는지도 궁금해요.
사실 일장이 형이 최근에 아까도 말했듯이 게임을 되게 많이 하셨었잖아요. 그래서 게임을 보니까 되게 실력에 자신이 있으실 것 같더라고요. 그래서 무조건 다 12합 하면서 무난하게 운영할 거다 생각하고 그거에 맞춰서 다 준비를 했는데 어센션이 솔직히 준비한 대로 판은 다 짜졌는데 진 게 너무 아쉽네요.
뮤탈을 생각보다 좀 많이 흔들렸던 게 좀 그랬던 것 같아요.
원래 그것도 다 막는 연습이 다 돼 있었는데 뭔가 너무 잘 되다 보니까 좀 방심을 했던 것 같아요.
세 번째 세트 역시 중반까지는 1세트와 좀 비슷한 흐름으로 흘러가는 듯 싶었거든요. 디파일러가 너무 자연스럽게 김지성 선수의 앞마다까지 들어왔었고 인구수는 많았습니다만 병력적으로 좀 우위를 점하고 있다는 느낌을 받기는 좀 어려웠고 하지만 배틀크루저가 7시를 정말 집요하게 노리는 모습이 있었습니다. 3시를 파괴한 이후에 7시까지 파괴하고 난 다음 이 김지성 선수의 계획에 다 있었던 건가요?
솔직히 그 상황은 그냥 좀 즉흥적으로 했던 거고요. 일장이 형이 1시에서 울트라랑 럴커로 한번 러시를 왔었는데 그 제가 메딕이랑 팩토리로 가려놨었거든요. 근데 그것 때문에 일장이 형이 좀 당황해서 그때부터 조금 빈틈이 생기지 않았나 생각하고 있어요.
김지성 선수가 경기 전 인터뷰에서 8강보다 더 높은 곳에 갈 수 있는 만큼의 준비가 되어 있다라는 이야기를 해주셨습니다.
네네.
시드권까지는 정말 바라볼 수 있을 만한 경기력을 오늘 보여주셨다는 생각이 드는데요.
네네.
개인적인 목표는 어떠실까요?
네, 일단 4강은 무조건 가고 싶고요. 개인적으로 결승도 솔직히 실력 주위에서 하는 것만큼만 하면 충분히 갈 수 있다고 생각하는데 그게 좀 쉽지가 않네요. 오늘도 해보니까 아무리 준비를 잘해도 이게 대회는 좀 다르다는 걸 한 번 느꼈고 그래도 가면 갈수록 조금씩 경기력이 나아지고 있는 것 같아가지고 8강 때도 잘 해볼 수 있을 것 같아요.
8강 라인업의 첫 번째 테란 김지성 선수입니다. 또 테란으로서의 김지성 선수를 굉장히 응원하는 팬들에게도 해주고 싶은 말씀 있으실 것 같아요.
사실 평소에 제 게임을 좀 보셨던 분들이라면 오늘 충분히 제가 1등으로 올라갈 만할 거라고 생각하셨을 거거든요. 근데 그거에 보답을 해서 다행인 것 같고요. 더 높이 지금까지 뭐 몇 시즌 동안 4강에 테란이 없었다고 하던데 제가 꼭 한번 가보겠습니다.
굉장히 응원하는 분들이 많으실 것 같습니다. 다시 한번 첫 8강 진출 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 B조에서 가장 먼저 8강에 오른 테란 김지성 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 계속해서 여러분들을 위해 준비된 이벤트 안내해드리겠습니다.
All right, guys, we do want to remind you that this is all funded by Patreon. Thank you, everyone who has signed up on patreon.com/ASL English. We now have a special Tastosis secret podcast.
That's right.
For you guys. That will just be for those Patreon members. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, guys, your support is appreciated. Without you, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So, yeah, check out the Patreon. And I think we're going to go to a break, right, Tastosis?
Yep. Quick commercial break here. And when we come back, a nice PvP.
Yeah.
이렇게 좋은 날엔 홈캠핑이지. 홈캠핑엔 고기, 고기엔 칠성사이다. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함. 완벽하네. 칠성사이다.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
야채 착착, 당토 톡톡, 아보카도 슥슥, 그리고 제로. 이렇게 맛있다고? 맛은 배로, 칼로리는 제로. 칠성사이다 제로.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아이시스 8.0을 챙긴다는 건 건강한 생각까지 챙긴다는 것. 나를 움직이는 핑크 에너지. 아이시스 8.0.
Run!
Run!
All right.
How we doing, Artie?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We've had some really good games tonight. And now we're going to play a PvP best of 3.
A little bit of Ped v Ped.
Ped v Ped.
Ped v Ped. We know all these, these British casters, they say Z instead of Z. Why don't we just do it with all the letters? Ped v Ped.
Oh, totally. My favorite, though, is Ted versus Ted.
Yeah, Ted versus Ted is a long one, isn't it?
Ted versus Ped is very hard, Tasteless.
Ted
and we just had
Ped.
some great Ted versus
Well,
Peds.
a lot of Ted players think that Ped is OP and takes no skill.
Yeah, and a lot of Zed players think that, too.
All right, guys, we are ready to go into the losers match. Somebody's going to get eliminated. I actually have no clue who takes this. Even though I knew this was a possibility, I wasn't really factoring it in that it could be Free versus Noob. Let's just see what happens, man. Best of 3 PvP, a fight to survive and stay in Group B. Right.
So we have Free in the top right. The bottom left, got Noob. Okay, so I would say that Free is pretty heavily favored. I think his PvP is really good, actually. He did win the StarLeague, and that was over best in the finals, I believe, or maybe it was regular StarLeague rather. But anyways, Free has been doing like pretty well, I think. Noob, I'm trying to think of PvPs I've seen of his, and not many are coming to mind, really.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head for him, but so far, let's just see what they decide to do, how they're going to open up. PvP's, I think, honestly, a very interesting matchup. There's so many different ways to open up that are viable, all the way from like 2-gate into like super fast expand, and it makes for a lot of different games and a lot of different engagements. I think the least exciting of all those is the one where somebody goes DT and the other one skips detection, which I feel like happens to our cast more than it should. But yeah, let's see what kind of game we get.
Yeah. I certainly hope it's not one of those games like Best had. That was
that was rough.
That was rough. That was very rough. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. Do you DT rush often in PvP?
I mean, I would say I do it a decent amount. I mean, I think, when you DT rush in PvP, you're not doing it because you hope they don't have detection. I think that's a big thing to point out, is you're not hoping to get a free win as much as you are trying to control the game in a certain way. And it does eliminate a lot of economic cheese that can happen in PvP, where if they do skip detection, then you're fine, right? But I would say I DT rush a decent amount, yeah. It's not something I default into, but if I feel like it might be viable based off the situation I'm in, then I'll go for it.
And how often do you get, like, just, you do the swipe and the guy has to leave because he's like, oh, damn, I was greedy?
You'd be surprised. It happens a decent amount, and that's in part because, 3-gate was really popular for a while, or 4-gate was pretty popular. This was more in the Neo-Sylphid era of laddering, you know what I'm saying? But usually when you DT rush, it's just into expand. You know what I mean? You get the DT, you have cannons to stop their DTs, and you're able to get a base up.
Well, see what these guys are going for. Noob is saving up, so did he just throw it on a Robo, I guess? Oh, no, he started range. Okay. I was going to say, his bank was actually going up kind of high. I was like, oh, is this... We're going to see something a little bit cheeky, but no. Looks pretty normal so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is so far just appearing to look like, a very standard run-of-the-mill PvP. It looks like they'll probably both be going Robo Expand or Expand Robo.
And they're cross spawns, so how do you think that'll play into it?
Well, I mean, I think it could definitely lend itself to a macro game. I mean, it is possible to go for a Reaver push, but the further away you are, the less likely it is to succeed. But, you know, a lot of it is kind of... We're basically about to get to the point where you see the tech for sure. So it's Robo there, Robo here. So this is going to go straight into a macro game.
I could see that being kind of cool on this map. You know, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious. They're shooting exactly the same time. But look at Noob. He wants that high ground badly. Okay, he gets up there. But, you know, I'm kind of withholding judgment on the map so far. But it's got really interesting terrain features in the fact that you've got these two giant ramps, basically, that go down into your area. But, and like, we've seen occasion on other maps where, like I've seen maybe 1 or 2 PvPs, for instance, on Shakuras, where the Protoss tries to contain the 3 ramps of their opponent. Here, I think the ramps are so big that's going to be really difficult, right? Like, you're probably not going to be able to just contain here, which means we should have free army movement.
I mean, I think the thing is, anybody who can get control of the center can kind of roam and try to take fights as the other side tries to go up the ramp. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
And this is a rule that is periodically applicable in certain games on certain maps, but I do think it could be a theme here, is basically getting to contain. Fighting Spirit has had this issue as well with that bridge that goes into the middle of the map. If you can kind of control that, it gets pretty headachy to try to actually spill out anywhere else onto the map. Now we have the Nexus starting here for free, and there's a couple subtle things that are happening here. Free went for Nexus a little bit more quickly. Noob is basically, I believe, getting Reaver Tech and Observers first before expanding. Yeah. Because he's not sure if there's a DT rush or anything else. So Free taking a little bit more of a risk is going to be a little bit ahead here.
And he's going to get his Reaver out and everything as well, so I don't think he's really too scared. I don't think it's likely that he'll take any damage or anything like that. You know, obviously, Noob here playing that slightly safer game. That was something he did against Hero as well, right? Like, it seems like he wants to get into the longer, later game.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're correct. It's sorry, I was like deep in thought, Artosis, about whether or not they're both going to go for shuttle speed. It's actually what I was thinking about. Yeah, you know, it's a funny thing when both sides open up with this. A lot of times, one player's opening up with this build so that they can stop any kind of cheese the other side has and play a normal game. But when you both do it, it gets kind of weird, right? Because essentially nobody can harm each other. And I feel like this lends itself to teching very nicely. Shuttle speed, maybe getting a quick Citadel.
And the Observer ducks in here, so I think they both basically know now what each other are doing. And, well, that's what you were kind of meditating on, if they're both going to go shuttle speed. With such a big map and big main bases, and you're so far away, is there a reason why you wouldn't go shuttle speed?
I think it's
even... it seems obvious.
I think, for the reasons you said, but even more so, it's just that shuttle speed is probably one of the best upgrades in the entire matchup. Keep in mind, if this game goes on for a long time, we will eventually have Psystorm. Speed shuttle drops are way better than slow shuttle drops, right?
Yeah.
A Reaver with speed is probably going to kill off way more Dragoons than a Reaver, Shuttle Reaver without speed, is what I mean to say. And so I think you have to go for it, right? I mean, I think there's no incentive to not.
So, yeah.
I mean, you're giving up a decent amount of gas, but it seems strong. But I don't know, maybe there's something these guys know that I don't.
Well, I'm sure there is, but I don't think it's about shuttle speed.
Yeah, we've got
everybody knows something you don't know, Tastosis. You ever heard of that?
This is true.
Yeah.
So there is a shuttle coming up here towards the main. Is he going to try to commit, or will he wait for speed to finish up before he comes in here? Now, going into the main can always be a scary thing. If they're really ready for it, you can really get punished. Oh, wow.
He's going to fly in, but from a different type of angle here to catch probes trying to run out. So Free pulls them to the north, but that's a first big one. 4 or 5 kills immediately. 3, I guess, but oh my god, 8 probes dead.
And Noob is just decimating. All he has to do now when you see that there's nothing coming here, you know you're about to be attacked. So he's going to have to be ready for the attack here. I don't know if that means bring this all the way back home. By the way, he's going to kill that pylon. That was funny when that attack was happening. I'm like, why do I have these sound effects in my ear? Where are the zealots? Now I see them.
Yeah, he almost loses that shuttle diving into the main base, but bombs back out to the natural, dropping his Reavers out, going for a kill here. Let's see if it ends up working out. nOOB does have these defensive Reavers. One up the ramp, saves a lot of his probes, does have higher supply, but that Nexus certainly going to fall.
And this shuttle is still over here, tearing it up onto this side of the map. Free losing so many workers. Now, in this situation, keep in mind that nOOB did evacuate his probes and sent them into the main. So as long as he can kind of keep a functional main base, I do think it's probably going to be nOOB in a better position.
Well, let's see if he can get a few more Scarabs. 16 kills already, but with that second Nexus, you never know, right? Like, you can recover faster than people think from herd economies in this game. Okay, 22 kills, 23 kills. Pretty awesome Reaver there.
Yeah, now the issue is going to be, you're right, Artosis, you can recover with probes, but the problem is that you're not going to be able to make Dragoons as quickly. And so with nOOB, I mean, he's going to probably be able to push down here, and then he may end up with a follow-up push where nOOB is going to kill Free the way that it looked like Free almost killed nOOB, minutes ago.
Now, the Observer gets pulled around. nOOB snuck this out from behind his natural, where it was watching the Observer of Free. Free almost caught it, but it gets over, which is going to allow him to push the Observer back a little bit, and then maybe utilize his Shuttle Reaver to retake his bottom of his ramp here. So, yeah, it looks like that's exactly how it works out. Free knows what's going on.
Oh, is there no shuttle
vacates the
here?
premises. No, he lost it, yeah.
Oh, wow. I almost feel like it would have been better to take a fight on the ramp then. You know what I mean? Like, this is a much easier fight here for nOOB. Maybe not. Maybe the high ground actually is a little bit more advantageous.
Well, he goes over to that high ground right there, and look at this. Look at these Reavers try to get away. This is like
this
a
high-speed Reaver chase, man.
Yeah.
If this Reaver goes under 60 miles per hour, it will explode.
All right, comes forward now, targeting down those Reavers very quickly. Oh, he loses one of them. Definitely some missed micro there by nOOB for a moment, but of course he will end up winning the battle overall.
Yeah, that was an impressive fight there. nOOB is reclaiming his Nexus. Remember, nOOB is probably up in probes. I think Free might have more army here, but nOOB definitely with more workers, even though he's been making out of 2 Nexuses.
Yeah, and Free has been refilling those probes pretty quickly. Looks like nOOB wants to do a drop, but sees the... Ooh, nice snipe on that Observer. I don't think that nOOB can actually push this.
Well, he might try to go in the main. Let's take a look. It's going to be a bit of a Reaver duel over here. And almost losing that Reaver there for Free.
Gotta be careful on that one. Comes forward and immediately gets the snipes.
That was huge. Just shuts that down, and I do feel like nOOB maybe gave up a big opportunity here. I think it might have been better to pull into the main. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? But it did seem like that was a pretty lost cause there, unless you're just going to get some insane Scarabs.
Now, some insane Scarabs come out, but they are from Free. nOOB going to end up losing his entire army, and I think you're pretty dead from here, unfortunately. I'm not sure that he actually had to attack.
No, he did not. He did not.
He had such a healthy probe count that, the double Nexus is up for Free, so maybe you feel like you're behind, but it's not necessarily the case. Yeah,
it's kind of a funny situation. I think putting pressure on was fine, but I think he had opportunities to maybe try to fly into the main. But he's given up, I think, what was a pretty good lead. Okay, hold on. These Dragoons could catch this. That is huge.
Are these guys being a bit too rabid?
Well, PvP can get like this, where you end up with Dragoon Reaver fights, like, forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it just becomes this kind of slugfest. And, the thing is, when you play against really good players who are really strong with Goon Reaver, you can see why it happens, because you could just sometimes overpower the other side. But I think we definitely saw a misfire there from nOOB.
Yeah. Free kind of being a little bit wasteful, unfortunately. Comes up, he has a lot of Dragoons. nOOB, though, with the double Reaver and that speed shuttle. Looking fine. Citadel coming up now. Still no third base here for free. Oh my god, comes into a giant concave of Dragoons here. Some of them being microed forward by Free, trying to take down these Reavers, but great micro from Noob as he picks them up, as he gets them back. Free losing a big chunk of his army.
Yeah, and now we're going to have, I think, almost like a Groundhog's Day moment here. It's going to be the same situation. I think Noob's going to come in here, try to do a push, but I think this time, if it goes correctly, Noob could take it.
Yeah, let's see.
Wow.
Now that Reaver does come out for Free. He gets some 6 Scarabs, but ends up losing it. Noob's Reaver's doing just a little bit better here.
He kept both Reavers alive. That might be enough to actually just win this fight. He's got this like 2 hit point Reaver here.
Free still trying to macro back up. He is running away with these Dragoons. Does he have some Reavers in his natural? So he's going to go ahead and try to defend against a drop. Does have 1 Reaver in the natural right now.
Really, this would be a great moment to try to expand here for Noob. And I think, honestly, go for the contain we were kind of talking about earlier. You know, he might even just want to go for a contain on the low ground even. You know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of...
You think so?
I don't think it's bad, man. I mean, the outside is pretty wide open, right? Compared, I mean, it's not a very tight entrance. Well, hold on a second. Let's just see what happens here. I think we might be close to the end.
He's got Zealot legs now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, I guess he might push in here, but I don't think he has to. I think take a third base and play it safe, but maybe not.
Well, that wouldn't go with the flow of this game so far, Tastosis. They have just been donking into each other when they get ahead. So let's see. He comes in. Oh, the Reaver in the shuttle does get shot down. His Speedlot's getting in. We're clicking a couple over towards those Reavers, kind of annoyingly. But the Reavers of Free are doing amazingly right now. Let's see if he can keep them alive and keep this damage output going.
This is a disaster, man. Like, this is the dream, is you have a speed shuttle and you have Reavers, like, in the back of your base, and the Dragoons are basically trying to parkour over the Nexus to hit them. I mean, he survived that beautifully.
There have been some very messy attacks back and forth this game.
I think Noob is a little wiggly this game.
Yeah,
I think he is a little bit nervous right now because this is... I mean, and he still might win, guys, but there have been some jaw-droppingly questionable pushes into that base. Like, when I was seeing him outside, I thought, okay, that makes sense. Just contain him and take a third. And he's like, I'm going to get those Reavers behind the Nexus.
Yeah, those Reavers that are so far away, they're mine.
They're mine. Here's the problem. There's no more map behind the minerals. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think you can get back there.
It's a little bit far, unfortunately.
Did we
he has a contain of 5 Dragoons out here, Tastosis.
Yeah, and there is a Reaver drop inbound, and I don't actually know what's at the natural. I don't believe cannons were ever made. I think this game was far too scrappy to have that kind of clean defense. So keep in mind also, all the probes are here. All of them. There are none in the main. And so, the amount of possible kills here is absolutely insane. He might even want to just try to suicide this in and just see if he can get 1 or 2 good shots.
Yeah, even 1 good shot on those minerals would be like 20 probes.
That would be...
Everything is super saturated.
Protoss chef's kiss right there.
Hey,
like, are those Reavers back here?
That's just it for the rest of the game, man, right there.
He just wants to go kill those 2 Reavers and leave the game. Those are his winning conditions.
Okay, so I just saw Noob kill his own Zealot. He's not supply blocked.
So I do want to point this out because this could be coming pretty soon here. When Templar tech out, if you could Psystorm, 1 good Psystorm drop on the only mining base is literally like about as devastating as anything can be in StarCraft. Especially PvP where you have a lot of workers.
Well, he's coming in with the speed shuttle. Does he have Storm? Right, here comes in that shuttle now. Oh, another Reaver in there. It's that same Reaver, in fact. It's like the Scarab not going to do so
Dude,
well.
Scarabs are so bad sometimes, man. It's crazy.
Well, good for us. Makes the game a little bit closer. But nOOB is he's in a bad spot here. I like that Free has his third next coming up. Both sides, of course, switching over into some Archons as their money dries up.
Yeah, I don't think Free got Storm, did he?
I don't think so. I don't think either of them have Storm. I think it's just
I think
Archon.
nOOB does. He has Templars just sitting around, right?
Does he? No, I think it's like one because he's waiting for a second one to be made.
Oh, okay.
Archon.
Well, that might make sense then, because if you are in a really scrappy game, Storm costs too much. It's better to just make an Archon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that seems to be the case right now. Yeah, more Archons being made up here for Free, who does have that third base up and mining so importantly. His supply is up by like 50 right now, so I think this game is coming to a close.
Yeah, Free basically just playing the econ game.
Now, maybe nOOB should put his Reavers behind his Nexus and see if Free right-clicks on him, because that would be a good comeback mechanic.
You know, it does seem like if you could just stay outside where the third base should be, you're probably going to be in great shape, right?
Yeah, and in fact, he's coming down. Looks like he's going to attack, move in right now. The Observer's kind of going across. Keeps his own alive against that DT, which is nice. The Reavers get dropped down both sides. Great micro here from Free.
Ooh, the shuttle control is just incredible. Oh! All right, this game's now actually over for real. For reals.
Yeah, I would definitely concur with that. Free is so far ahead. He's up 40 supply right now. Has map control. Has that additional base. nOOB with just about nothing left over.
Yeah, I don't see any way that nOOB can recover here. Shuttle looking for any kind of fight it could take. The thing is, yeah, the more I look at this map, the more it just seems like if you can control the center, you really can basically zone out endgame here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, well, especially in a situation like this, like how are you ever going to really get up, right? He can dive in. There's counterattack potential for him as well if you do get by him. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of options here for nOOB. All right, here we go. This should be it. No, Free's going to run away.
Well, I think Free just wants to be safe, right?
Yeah, I can't blame Free for this, like for him not attacking in, because this is the best way to do it. He's getting further and further ahead every moment that he's not doing anything, you know, just sitting there.
That was unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, for Free, you can just run the clock at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, nOOB just is not going to get another base. Just confirm they don't have other bases and let the game sort itself out, right?
Yeah, totally. Now moving forward here once again. That Reaver in the back trying to get a lot of value, and even if it does, I don't think it matters. There's so many Dragoons here for Freeze, up twice the supply. So we should be seeing GG at this point.
Yep, there it is. GG. Game 1 goes to Free, although I think it could have been nOOB's game for sure. You know,
yeah, it felt like he had the lead twice and screwed up attacks twice.
That's a frustrating one. And, you know, I think anybody who's played a StarCraft game has had that moment where they're doing something and it's like, you know, it doesn't make sense, but you're just doing it in the moment. That was when he was trying to kill the Reavers in the very back of the base. It's like he had this lead, and then instead of trying to play his advantage, he tried to end it with his advantage. And that is almost always a bad move. Unless you like have to end the game because of the circumstances, you don't need to. Just, you know, contain them, and as you have famously said, Artosis, what do you do when you're ahead? Get more ahead.
Yeah.
The mistake you make is when you try to end it, and then you might give them an opportunity to come back into the game. Anyways, though, we've just gotten started here, guys. That was Game 1 on Largo. We're going to go to Revolver for Game 2.
All right, let's see if nOOB has something special here, or he's just going to keep playing these very safe openers. That's what he's done so far today. It hasn't worked out, but he's actually looked pretty strong, just not with the right decision-making a bit later on.
All right, we're ready, guys. This is Game 2. Again, a fight for survival in the ASL between Free and nOOB.
So yeah, we have Free there in the top right, leading 1-0, and then Noob in the top left here of Revolver, which is a gun, as Tastosis pointed out earlier.
Yeah, I know a lot of stuff. That's why they let me cast this game.
All right, man.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's see see how these guys open up. You know, again, PvP, there's so many different openings. Kind of a surprising amount for a mirror matchup. And then those all have different interactions.
I wonder if this map, like the you know, the eggs that kind of help make choke points in the natural, is there any way that you could see this map playing out differently because of those?
I don't think so. I don't feel like the eggs generally play much of a role in the map at PvP. Here's what matters in PvP. Are you on high ground? Are you on low ground? Then it's a huge factor. And then what kind of ramp do you have? Because, and then of course if it's a, you know, how do I say this? If it's a 2-player map versus a 3 or 4-player map. But you know, a lot of it just kind of comes down to like how much can you get away with because you have a small entrance versus you know, like, okay, let's say that you're on a map that has no ramp to the high ground, you're just on flat land, and there's a pretty wide opening. Well, then rushes are such a problem that you have to play a very different game, right? But as far as the eggs, I don't know. I don't know if they play as much of a role.
Well, it's just because there's like 2 quote-unquote entrances to your natural is why I'm kind of asking, right? Because it's like they're made smaller via those eggs. Like you have the small ramp leading up, but you also have that weird side entrance. So I'm just like trying to think, like, is there some way you can slip something by if someone's being too greedy? But it's like a kind of a different path to get up over that way. So yeah, that's kind of like the standout thing I think about this map for the early game is the way that those eggs are around the natural.
Yeah, this time around here, you know, it pretty much so far is sizing up for a normal PvP opening. We don't have 2 gate. Nobody made any gates in the middle of the map. We're having this weird back and forth here with these probes in the bottom left. Now, I'm surprised that, oh, I see, because he's on the high ground, he thought he might, okay, get the missing shot. Got it.
Yeah.
I was like, there's never a moment where you have hit second and then you stay there.
Yeah. Oh, the probe is actually like going in a weird direction here for Noob. Goes out through the center. I think he might not even be aware of what's going on there because now a Zealot's going into his main base.
Yeah, this is really bad right now for Noob. Noob definitely did something wrong because there's never a moment where your Zealot is going to be in the middle of the map where their Zealot is over here. Now keep in mind, Zealots kill probes almost immediately. It's 3 hits.
Yeah, and there's some good micro here from Noob, but I think the Zealot has definitely done enough to pay for itself.
Yeah, no, that's been a very annoying Zealot.
Free now is already on 2 gateways, Tastosis. What is this build? Just 2 gate range? Like, are you trying to rush with ranged dragoons here?
Yeah, I've actually encountered this like once, and it really. I mean, I don't know when he got the second gate. First of all, he might have just gotten the second gate because he hasn't killed the scouting probe yet. Sometimes you just don't want to show him any tech. But you can go for 2 gate range goons and really put some pressure on. I think it's 3 gate for Noob. No, I'm sorry. Oh, tasteless. Why you doubt yourself ever? So 3 gate for Noob.
All right, so those 3 gates are coming, and 2 gate Robo here for Free. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong, Tastosis, but I feel like in this situation, this is a little bit better for Free because his second gate was a little bit quicker, and he has like these choke points / ramps, so he's going to be down just slightly in units, but has better tech.
Well, basically we have 2 very, very different ideas at play here. Noob going for 3 gate is looking to clobber his opponent, right? You don't have anything sophisticated behind this. You can't develop. You can't even really get good intel, right? Because you don't have observers. Free is trying to basically deflect against anything that might come his way. That counts DTs, that counts 2-gate, that counts a lot of different stuff. But Free has done a very good job disguising what he's doing so far. We just saw the 2 gates. Now, the issue, by the way, something that's very funny that can happen is if you both 3-gate and you're just in an extremely weird, stupid game.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't kill each other, but you also don't know what's going on.
Yeah, totally. Just kind of rally forever, right, to whoever has the contain versus standing outside. Now, Free has 2 goons in the center, which seems a little bit weird, whereas Noob is going through those side eggs that we were talking about before.
That should be his new nickname now, man.
Side egg?
Side egg. We had Storm Egg, now we got Side Egg.
Egg Clan.
Egg Clan, unite. So I think that part of this is this map being new enough to these guys. Basically, Noob has managed to loop around here. If he can kill this Zealot, this is the problem. See, Free's going to come in from behind, and now Noob realizes he's completely incorrectly evaluated what kind of position he was in. But regardless, Free's going to run up the ramp, and the problem right now is that there are going to be Reavers coming out. I don't think this ramp is going to be broken. Certainly not when it's 3 Reavers, or 3 Dragoons versus 2 and a Zealot. Probe's being pulled here, and if the Reaver comes out and defends this, then Noob is basically completely and totally in the dark. Behind in probe count, by the way, because you sack a lot of probes when you do this. And very much so stuck.
Yeah, and look at Free adding that additional gateway as well to shore up his production. Now, the Robo's coming up for Noob, but that's going to be so much slower. I am loving this position for Free.
Yeah, I think Free, he was an honorable Protoss in the PvP sense. And I guess he wants to tear down these eggs to give himself a wider berth to come down. And I guess those eggs did play a role. Free, known as Side Egg. An Egg Clan. Look at that spread from Noob.
Yeah, he's got quite the arc down there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you only have, 1 or 2 less Dragoons than your opponent here, in 2 rounds, he's going to be really close to army size, plus a couple Reavers. I think it's pretty easy to break out, right? He's already widened his ramp.
Yeah.
You can just kind of run down, and he's even making more Zealots to tank. I love that, too.
Now, the problem for Noob here, and I think it's important we cast this from his perspective because it really illustrates the game. I think to the naked eye, you'd be like, well, Noob's got to contain and Free's stuck at home. For all Noob knows, there's a Citadel making and a Temple Archive's about to start. He doesn't know. Now he knows because there's this drops coming out here. That's insane micro there with that shuttle. He got so much extra damage out here. He is going to have broken Free from this contain, assuming he can get that Reaver down there. And not even all the Dragoons are pulled away, so he's going to get free kills with that. Now, he's got to be careful. This is a tough decision. Do you actually want to go out with the shuttle that weak? The shuttle is like a D or E tier unit without speed. Maybe even an F tier unit. It's just not fast.
Yeah, it is a little bit slow.
And so, I mean, it's a lot that the Protoss has to kind of hinge his victory on. Let's see what happens now. I mean, we want to watch that shuttle closely. If that gets picked out of the sky, it's a problem. They've both now made the same mistake of thinking if they have Dragoons in the middle that they can't, be attacked.
Yeah, everyone keeps coming through that side egg area. Now drops his own Reaver out. Oh, the Reaver here of Noob gets picked off so quickly. God. Huge Scarabs as well.
Oh, he made it even easier. He just shot down the... he picked up the Reaver with a 1 HP Dragoon and then, shuttle and then picked it off. That's funny.
Yeah.
So he wants to run up here and try to kill the Reaver as it comes out.
He's up 25 supply right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He's up 30 supply now. GG.
GG. GG's.
Yeah. So Free will go on to that final match with a 2-0 over Noob. I don't think Noob played poorly, but I don't think that was his best either.
No, it was not his best, was it?
No, I don't think so.
I think this whole tournament was a great experience for him. And look, Free is a veteran. I know not everybody that watches ASL followed the entire history of StarCraft 1, but like Free was like a king among kings in the past.
Yeah, he was like the fifth best Protoss in the world for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, so nOOB, I mean, it's almost like bad story writing that's his name, but he is the nOOB of ASL, you know?
Yeah, for sure. But you know, he had a great result getting round of 16, given some good games here tonight. But next up, Free versus Hero for that spot in the round of 8.
함께 모이면 홈파티. 홈파티엔 먹방. 먹방엔 칠성사이다. 맛있어. 맛있는 자리에 빠질 수 없는 청량함. 칠성사이다.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
퇴근하고 뭐해? 퇴근하고? 오늘은 유셰프, 내일은 유러너, 주말은 유목수? 그걸 다? 본캐부터 부캐까지 하고 싶은 게 많은 요즘 시대의 커피. 칸타타 콘트라베이스.
디자인을 하면서 가장 중요하게 생각했던 부분은 울트라 기어의 차별화된 브랜드 메시지를 잘 나타내는 것입니다. 신과 영웅들의 최강의 무기들을 검토하였습니다. 그중 니케의 승리의 날개를 모티브로 지금의 울트라 기어의 로고가 탄생하게 되었습니다. 울트라 기어의 이니셜인 U와 G를 비상하는 날개의 형상으로 레드 색상을 사용하여 강력한 에너지와 힘을 나타내었습니다. 울트라 기어는 최상의 퍼포먼스로 진정한 게임의 즐거움, 승리의 기쁨을 여러분께 선사할 것입니다.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to have the final best of 3 right now. It is going to be Hero versus Free, a Protoss versus Zerg.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it should be an excellent match. Like, I think Free is playing well. He's always been very good PvZ. Hero, of course, a complete monster, having a sick close series against Royal, just barely being knocked down out of winning first place in this group. And while I do feel like Hero is advantaged a little bit, Free is someone that could take him down. It wouldn't be the
I
oddest
agree
thing.
with that. I think that this should be a Hero victory, but you do not want to underestimate Free for sure. The thing is, I think Hero is just so sharp with how he approaches the game. And again, a very abusive Zerg. We're going to go to Eclipse to start things off. We've had some great PvZs on this map, by the way.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's just a great map in general.
Yeah, excellent map. All right, guys, let's get this going. One player advances to the round of 8. The other is eliminated from the ASL.
All right, so we have Free in the top right. And down in the bottom left, we have Hero. Is top right or bottom left like better for this matchup for Protoss?
I think they're about the same.
Oh, are they?
I think because you play Terran, I think you look at it like, as a Terran, like, can I get my third up or not? But that's not, I think they're both takeable, for both the races. I think it's a good map for both the races. The issue a lot of times comes down to, like, the thing about Eclipse is that it is symmetrical, but in kind of a weird way, you know what I mean? And not like a lot of these 4-player maps are. Like, you have these 2 Nook bases in the bottom right, and then you have this weird expansion lane for both sides that ends in the top left corner of the map. And so you can end up with games where either the Protoss or the Zerg end up controlling one corner and the other race the other. And those can make for some kind of wild games.
Yeah, that happens a lot in Terran matchups here as well.
Or you can have it where you both are controlling a Nook base in the bottom right, and you're both growing towards that double. It can happen.
I don't think I've seen that, because it feels like it's just too close. Like, there'd be too many fireworks there, and like it wouldn't work out.
Well, again, remember in this matchup, both races are garbage at attacking up tiny ramps.
Yeah, that's
narrow
true.
Areas. So
that's true. Yeah,
you can basically have lurkers and sunken colonies in one base, and the Protoss is sitting there with cannons and Reavers and High Templars at the other, and it's like just. I mean, remember we talked about this a long time, where like if a Zerg takes one of those tiny bases on Fighting Spirit, like I just never attack it after that. I'm like, well, that's not worth it. Like,
yeah, it's actually it's a brilliant thing. Actually, when you said that, I like wrote it down. I'm like, oh, I like this. Like, if you can't kill a base, don't try to kill it.
Yeah, I'm not going to pour my energy into trying to dismantle this unless I know I can get up there. If I have any reservations about it, why would I even try to eliminate it? I'll just let them mine that out or try to storm drop it or something. But,
No, definitely true. People actually have a hard time with that, where they're like, oh, it's an expansion, it's killable. It's like, no. It's like you don't ever try to kill your opponent's natural, right? That's a killing move. That's not... Right. That's not like one of the bases that you look at, you're like, well, I want to kill that now.
Yeah, I'll take his natural out while he's taking these other bases. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
So anyways, the probe, down here, trying to harass a little bit. Azat walking around the long way. The first hatchery was made over at the third base for Hero. He makes the second one in his own natural here. A couple lings are going across the map.
Yeah, I think that for now, it's going to be a pretty conservative game. I'm kind of surprised that he didn't have a probe here ready to block that ramp. It's not a huge deal that the Lings get up there, but, once they get in your base, they can, if they micro correctly, you can't kill the Lings. You will not catch them with the one Zealot, So it's some pretty kind of insane scouting to let them in there like that.
Yeah, and we'll see how long he can keep that alive. Probably a very long time. Hero's such a highly respected Zerg. You can see he's sitting here on 500 APM right now.
Now here's the other thing as well, is that when you realize that they have a Zealot attacking you over here, And especially now that he's going to catch this Zealot out here, you do start to know as a Zerg that you might be able to just win this game outright with Lings. We may
Do you think we're going to see him try that?
We might, but he did just lose the Lings in the main. But sometimes if the Lings can stay alive in the main and there's a Zealot chasing it, like each Zealot that you make when you do a 1-gate expand opening, each Zealot is so important. And so he can maybe even just ignore that. I'm not sure. But this is also something that's kind of in the meta that I still haven't really cemented it in my play, but getting a battery.
Yeah, it seems like he was actually ready for that. We've seen more and more Protosses adding that battery when there's a lot of Lings being made, but Free cancels it. I think he's decided that, oh, okay, this is not actually coming. It's not actually going to be a Ling all-in from Hero, but I love that he had that as part of his build order here in case he needed it.
Well, I think it's a smart addition that the Protosses have implemented, which is like, there's so many games where you have fast expanded, and you just barely get killed by the Zerg. Like, they just barely kill the gateway, or they just barely kill one Zealot that's blocking an area, and then the flood of Zerglings comes in. But with the battery, you kind of mute that ability.
Well, he's got a cannon up now. +1 is on the way. Everything looking pretty solid here for Free. Is that a particularly fast +1? That started before the Stargate, right?
Yeah, let's see if he even gets a Stargate, though. It is.
Oh, you think he might skip? Okay, yeah.
Protosses now sometimes skip it and just get a Citadel and basically try to play a oh, no, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, he does make that underneath, but just the fact that +1 started so quickly makes me feel like he has some different ideas about how he wants to play this. I feel like normally +1 definitely starts after Stargate, but
it could be that his core did finished late as well because of the battery.
Okay, that
could be it as well, is that you just have the resources and you're really just trying to spend the money, but if you can't get the Stargate yet, you might as well just dump it onto the Forge. Get things moving along.
No reason to hold it.
Right.
Now, there are Hydras coming across the map, Tastosis. This looks to be a 3-hatch Hydra plus Speedling bust.
Yeah, this is really exciting to see here. I don't know if Free's going to be ready for it, but this game's going to pick up very fast. Keep in mind, he did start that upgrade at the Forge. He'll probably have to cancel it.
Oh, no, Tasteless. That's not even fair. Oh, my God. That would be so sad. Now, look at the pathing here of the Corsair. He sent all the Hydras up the longer path. Is he even going to see this with the Corsair?
I don't think he will. Well, this is like, Hero's like so good that it's mind-boggling. Like
God.
Right now, because the Corsair comes down that path to see Hydras on either side, and Hero is just like,
GG.
This is it.
What a sick game that was.
What a gamer Hero is.
Dude, seriously, though, like the way that he dictated that, the way that he hid the Hydras going up the side, and you even saw Free trying to check both sides, but Hero 2 on top of that, and instantly punishing.
This is just very unfortunate right now for Free. There's no way he can recover from this. GG. I'll tell you, man. You ever see something in a game, Artosis, and you're like, why was everybody not doing that for all time?
Yeah.
That's what when I see the Hydras just going the long way all the way around the Corsair vision, I'm like, huh.
Yeah. I think you might be running into something new here on the ladder, Taste. So sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pain. Well, now the meta has to change. You have to send your Corsair in the worst possible path.
I have to serpentine my Corsair back and forth through the middle of the map. I have to draw a W before I get to their base and lose it to Scourge because it took so long.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Guys, we've got the next game coming up. Now, Free lost that, but that is part of being a Protoss player, is losing to Hydra busts. So I'm sure he can dust himself off and get into this next game. But again, Hero is here to win. He wants to go all the way. And a lot of times when you put that Zealot pressure on, you're kind of doing that so that they're not going to go Hydras, and Hero just did Hydras super late, too.
Yeah, it was definitely slowed down a little bit there, but catches Free completely off guard, and now he's just one win away from that round of 8. Free, I mean, that has to be kind of a frustrating loss. It felt like he played a nice game and he just barely lacked the intel he needed to have a chance.
Yeah, it was. Look, I mean, honestly, it was a very impressive game from Hero. Free, I think he could still do this. I actually forgot what was map 2. Do you remember?
I do not recall.
I totally escaped me. Well, let's see what happens in the next game here. Again, Hero is fine playing a long macro game, or he's fine cheesing you out right away.
Okay, good night. Well, it's going to be a good night for one of these guys.
Yeah, Free, you can really see the pressure on the guy. He didn't even really get a taste of what, Hero plays like in that. Hero just basically pulled a fast one. That is the Protoss Glassjaw. Excuse me. That is the Glassjaw Protoss with the Hydra Bust.
Indeed. All right, let's see how this is going to go down on Good Night. Hopefully Free can take it. Give us a game 3.
Good night. Not even one word, good night. Just good night.
It's well night, Tasteless.
Good night. How was your night? It was a good night.
Not a great night. Just a good night.
Look, you going to bed? No, I'm telling you how my night was.
Is good night like as the parting, the greeting, whatever we call that?
It's one word,
is
right?
Is that one word?
I
think it is.
I swear it is. Good night. Yeah, good
night. What do you call the opposite of a greeting, like when you're leaving someone?
My phone's just like, did you mean Google night? I'm like, no. Sorry. Misspelled.
Why would you mean that?
Yeah. Good night. It's one word.
Yeah.
But this is not that. We're not going to bed. We don't sleep on Group B. Why is it a good night? Because Group B is happening.
Yeah. It's actually been quite a good group. I think it's better than Group A.
Group A was pretty good, though, man.
Yeah, but we also had those cheesy games, right? That were like really quick.
Yeah. That's true. So we have the Protoss in the bottom right, Zerg in the bottom left. Overlord scouting over where the natural expansion is going to be. The fact that we don't see a probe scout after Pylon should telegraph that this is going to be a gateway expand.
Yeah. And there it is.
People at home are like, wow, Tasteless.
He's so smart.
You're such a caster. Wow.
You play the game too?
He knows the game that he casts. So the probe is going to come in here and scout bottom left. I think I saw a pool go down. I think I see that on the mini map here.
Yep.
And so this is overpool.
And he's going to scout that right away. How does he want to alter his build here to fight against the overpool?
You mean from the Protoss?
Yeah.
Well, this is
do you keep the zealots at home and
so
you forge, or
what you do is you send the probe over here and you just look at the larva, and if all the larvae turn into eggs like now, like this, you say, well, it's probably lings, right? Unless he's like really trying to like fool me and make 2 drones and a pair of lings. And then if it's 6 lings or 4 lings, I believe the sequence is you stay at home, or you go halfway across the map and come back. If it's 2 lings, you can go across the map, but almost nobody does 2 lings. And even then, it's like, well, you're Gateway First is such a funny build because it doesn't, I think to the uninformed, it doesn't look like it does anything. You know what I mean? But it kind of stops a lot of stuff and still gives you options. So, like, see this pylon up here? Now he might want to decide to come across the map and attack with the zealots. He can basically watch and see, are lings coming at me? And he'll know that if the pylon keeps getting attacked with more and more lings, or is he going to have to get ready to defend? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Now, one ling is going to run into the main base, a little bit annoying. Going to send a zealot after it. Looks like that pylon does get canceled, and the hatchery starts there for Hero.
Now, it's kind of rough, man. The lings are going to get in here. Dude, if this probe keeps doing damage, This is one of the best spots to set and forget your probe if there's like a crazy fight. Is like any ranged attacking worker in their gas line, because you could end up getting like 3 kills if they're not watching. But anyways, this game's going to go on. He is getting Ling speed, I believe, so the Forge is going to have to plug up the entrance. Let's see if he does a Ling all-in, because he stopped mining. But he does see it with the probe, right? So it doesn't feel like it would be a smart decision to do a Ling all-in if you could see it coming, right?
I don't think it'll be a Ling all-in.
Well,
He keeps popping a few
Lings.
more.
You know, I do wonder if Hero just kind of knows something well enough to be like, there's actually this thing, if, like, you know, they make their gas before Forge, I think you can just kill them. You know, something like that, where it's like, oh, I've got this so fine-tuned that...
But
now he's making a Hydra Den.
In front of the probe.
There's some disrespect going on here, Artosis.
It feels like it. Or is it some elaborate trick where you're going to have Ling speed finish and kill the probe and then you don't make Hydras?
Well, that can work. I mean, the thing is, the Protoss has to react so strongly. This is actually why the Zealots are coming out, by the way.
Oh,
no.
Oh, no.
Because even Free looked at that den and is like, what? I don't, you know, and so he actually left his base before the cannon was done.
So he tricked him into thinking it was a trick den, but the real trick was that he would move out so the Lings could counter?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
When you see like a Hydra Den like that, you don't see Ling speed yet, and you're like, wait, what? And so you just send your Zealots out and be like, what's going on? Like, kill these Zealots first while I keep making probes and try to figure out how to deal with this. And now there's more Lings coming. And so as long as he keeps these Lings alive, it's kind of hard to move Zealots and probes against Speedlings. And no cannons are being made here. So he can actually come up here and try to target the gateway or the Forge even.
Oh man, with this many Speedlings starting to get in, no cannon is up. That one move out, man, really costing him. The other one as well, like, oh my god, Hero just with the craziest killer instinct.
Yeah, Hero and Soma are so good at playing like this where they kind of just get in there, you know, and you know, Speedlings are just so much better than probes and Zealots as far as mobility goes. But he committed onto these probes in here now. Now, back at home, is it just more Speedlings? Dude, oh, what, Den Artosis? You imagine that. You imagine that, you insane person.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you just made that up, Artosis, and lied all
I
these
don't know why I would lie
Den.
like that.
Yeah, well,
of course he'd make a den in front of the probe. Who would do that?
Who would do that? That's an insane thing. You imagine that, and yeah. So it's going to be Lings probably into Muta. Now keep in mind, right now, Free probably has that Hydraless Den burned into his memories. You know what I mean? But he doesn't see Hydras yet, so but he might still think that, like, you know, there might be lurkers coming here soon, or, you know, there could be a lot of Hydras ready to attack his front. He might still overmake cannons, but you know where he won't make cannons if he's thinking about a Hydraless Den, Artosis, is his main.
Yeah, probably not. Now, he got Citadel pretty quickly, so Legs should be finishing, huh? Maybe he can go across the map and get the intel with that?
He might try, but, you know, the Stargate's far away. The thing is, I think the Mutas are going to get to play a role here before the Protoss can really figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He's got enough Lings. He can kill this.
Oh, my. Dude, this is going so poorly right now for Free. The other Zealots come up to help, so it seems like Free will be able to hold on just barely against these Lings. But Muta's already on the way here for Hero.
This is pretty crazy.
I think they're going to fly in, and that's going to be GG.
Right now,
one Dragoon doesn't beat Mutas.
No. In fact, one Dragoon might be the funniest fight ever against Mutas for how slow they fire. So I think the Zealots see that. Yep. And so he's taking advantage of the fact that this area over here is just not going to be protected. And so now he's in the natural.
Oh, man, the Sunk's finished. The drone drill slows this down.
And the problem, Artos, is that cannons that warp in are made out of the same material that balloons are made out of when they're full of air.
I know that. That's what Wraiths are made out of. That's so weird.
The same, Wraiths and warping in cannons are made out of the same material. And then they take forever, the animation to finish it in. They have this like big cannon reveal, and by then it's dead. That's one of the funny things with Protoss buildings. They're like, here I am, and then they die.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
sick, dude. I just lost 5 of you to mutas.
Well, Corsairs are pumping out.
I am.
Oh man, Tasteless. This is just... It seems to me that Free is just dead, right? Like, he's got 2 Stargate Corsairs, so I guess he stays and sees if he can hit some crazy critical mass where he kills all the mutas and all the overlords forever.
Yeah.
But that can't happen.
He's going to try to win by just making Corsairs, but this is going to be like the moment where we discover that, like, fire puts out water. Like,
fire puts out
if
water.
there's enough
so
fire,
good.
it actually beats water, Artosis. Did you know that?
Yeah, if you throw the ocean at the sun wins. I don't know if you knew that.
GG.
All right. So fire puts out
Fire
water.
puts out water. He's like, well, if you have like all the fire in the universe, then yeah, water stands no chance. Corsairs are not going to beat that number of mutas and Scourge. Sorry.
No. And Hero ends up advancing in 2nd place. Very well done from him. Like, I would say, honestly, in this group, it still feels to me like Hero's the strongest player. Even though Royal ended up winning the group, that was, like, very close. But Hero was utterly impressive in his games today.
He's a killer, man. You never want to count Hero out. I feel like this guy should have won
top
multiple
4 last
ASLs
season.
already. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, just the fact that he came back from the military and instantly is top 4, it's like, oh my god, like this guy is he's just so good.
Built different, man. He's really something else. Guys, we've got an interview now with Hero. I'm curious to see how he's feeling about this season. You know, how far does he think he can go? This is one of the ASL seasons we have where Flash is not here.
Yeah. That's the guy who stopped him before, so maybe we can get a Hero Championship.
All right, guys, I think that interview should be ready. Congratulations again, Hero. Let's see how he is feeling.
ASL 시즌 12 16강 B조 경기 모두 함께 만나보셨습니다. 오늘의 두 번째 8강 진출자가 탄생했는데요. 저그 조일장 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
조일장 선수의 생각보다 오늘 경기가 조금은 어렵게 풀리지 않았나 싶습니다. 그래도 좋은 결과를 안고 집에 돌아가실 수 있게 됐는데요. 소감부터 들어볼까요?
사실 승자전 첫 세트 이길 때까지만 해도 그냥 1등으로 가겠구나 했는데 너무 무난하게만 했던 플레이가 좀 약점을 잡히면서 이제 졌는데 그래도 뭔가 자신이 있어가지고 올라갈 수 있었던 것 같아요.
많은 분들이 조일장 선수의 테란전을 보고 물론 아쉽게 좀 승리를 내어주기는 했습니다만 후반 운영에서 정말 실력이 많이 늘었다라는 이야기를 해주셨거든요. 그만큼 좀 테란전의 후반 운영 뒷심이 좀 있다는 자신감이 있으셨나요?
사실 3세트도 제가 좀 더 잘할 수 있었는데 좀 아쉽더라고요. 다음에 이제 테란 만나면은 이제 더 완벽하게 이제 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같아요.
디파일러 병력을 상대 미네랄 멀티 쪽으로 돌려서 들어가는 그런 움직임 자체는 많은 분들이 좀 놀라워했어요.
네.
근데 아무래도 3시를 내어주고 마지막 세트에서 7시를 지키려고 노력했지만 생각보다 조일장 선수의 생각보다는 배틀크루저가 좀 많았던 모양이에요.
네, 일단 3시가 날아간 것도 문제고 이제 울트라가 생각보다 약하더라고요. 이게 방업이 덜 돼서 그런지 좀 약해가지고 마린한테 자꾸 이거 이기는 싸움 같은데 자꾸 지더라고요. 그래가지고 좀 많이 당황했는데 지성이가 잘했던 것 같아요.
확실히 테란전과는 좀 다른 스타일의 토스전을 또 보여주셨던 것 같습니다. 토스전은 아무래도 좀 자신감이 있으셨던 건지 좀 초반에 상대의 심리를 이용한 좀 몰아붙이는 플레이를 보여주셨어요.
그냥 손 가는 대로 했던 것 같아요. 그냥 워낙에 토스전 자신 있어가지고 그냥 상대 움직임 보면서 그냥 좀 편하게 마음 편하게 해가지고 좀 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
조일장 선수의 경기력이 16강을 통해서 확실히 좀 올라왔다는 느낌 많은 분들이 받으셨을 것 같습니다. 조일장 선수 역시 좀 우여곡절은 있었지만 또 한 번의 자신감을 얻으셨을 것 같은데요. 다음 8강은 좀 어떨 것 같다고 예상하시나요?
일단 2등으로 올라가면서 이제 1위로 진출한 선수들이랑 붙게 되는데 아무래도 1위들은 더 기세가 좋을 것 같아가지고 준비를 좀 더 해야 될 것 같아요.
워낙 또 연습량이 방대한 조일장 선수이기 때문에 8강 상대 역시 좀 긴장을 하게 될 것 같습니다. 늦은 시간까지 함께해 주신 팬들에게도 한 말씀 전해주시죠.
일단은 좀 조가 좀 쉬울 것 같다는 이제 평이 좀 많았는데 오늘 제가 경기를 보니까 다 잘하더라고요. 그래가지고 최종전 대기하면서도 좀 많이 긴장했었는데 좀 팬분들이 뭔가 믿어주신 덕분에 좀 수월하게 올라갈 수 있었던 것 같고 이제 8강인데 뭐 일단은 4강 이상을 목표로 잡고 있기 때문에 네, 더 열심히 할 테니까 많이 응원해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 다시 한번 진출 축하드리고요. 이번 시즌 조일장 선수의 멋진 모습 기대하겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 해서 김지성 선수에 이은 오늘의 두 번째 8강 진출자 조일장 선수와 함께했습니다. 오늘의 경기 결과 확인해 보시죠.
All right, and there you have it. Royal in first place, Hero getting second place in this group, nOOB losing out. Unfortunately, no game wins tonight, and Free playing pretty well, I think, overall, but not well enough. Hero's killer instinct a bit too much for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, Free's good, but I think he is exactly a round of 16 ASL player right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Totally would agree with that.
That's exactly right where he belongs. He is not round of 8 quality. I think he needs to modernize his play a little bit. Even some of the zealot pressure stuff he did, it didn't seem like that that refined. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, you know, he's one of these guys that's been so good. I know he can basically show up and always qualify for an ASL. So,
all right, guys.
Group C, dude.
C, yeah. I can't wait for this day. Queen, Stork, Light Snow. That is the craziest group in the round of 16 that we've had in years. And then we have, of course, Group D coming up. Rush, Barracks, Beast, and Soulkey. Definitely have a couple big favorites there in Rush and Soulkey. But the up-and-comers, Barracks and Beast, have some opportunities. So that'll be a fun group as well.
Yeah, Group C, though, that is the group you do not want to miss out on. We're going to have those recordings out for you as soon as humanly possible, guys. So stay safe, stay spoiler-free, and we'll have those to you guys right away.
That's right. Very much looking forward to that, but this has been great. I think Group B outdid Group A. Group A was not bad at all. A very fun day here of ASL. I'm loving how this season is shaping up, Tasteless. Like there's a lot of contenders, I feel like, right now.
Oh, for sure. There are. It's going to be such a fun ASL. And look, I know that there's a lot of Flash fans out there. And look, he'll be done with the military eventually. But I do kind of like that we really don't know who's going to take this. There's so many good players. And I think the end is a really hard one to call.
It is. It is. I'm not really sure. I mean, you got to see what's going to happen, of course, in that Group C. That has like 4 potential winners of the tournament in there. Of course, Hero tonight was looking so good. If he took down an ASL, no one should be surprised about that. And, of course, you know, we have players like Rush and Soulkey who are just tip-top tier, although we don't think of them as champions. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, the season feels really wide open, unlike a lot of other seasons that we've had.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. And again, we have the secret Tastosis podcast pre-show that you can enjoy and hear us and our banter before these casts start. Take care, guys. Stay safe. We love you. We'll see you at Group C.